Education will reconvene into open session at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Susan Smith present.
Jesus Holguin present.
DJ Johnson present.
Daryl Peden present.
Martin Rex Kedziora present.
Robert Verdi present.
Dana Lopez present.
Maribel Maddox present.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going on to D2, report out of closed session. The Board of Education met in closed session to discuss board deliberation regarding student discipline cases, public employee employment appointment, public employee discipline dismissal release, non-reelects, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, and conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation. The board gave further direction to district staff and took action on the following. It's also important to note that we pulled the item from the consent agenda, and that is item F4A1 for a separate vote, and that is as follows. A motion was made by Ms. Smith and seconded by Mr. Johnson and approved the elementary school assistant principal for Towngate Elementary, Nicole Matthews Hardy. This was approved by the Board of Education by the following vote: 4 yes, 0 no. A motion was made by Mr. Holguin and seconded by Ms. Smith and approved the elementary school assistant principal for Edgemont Elementary, Dr. Todd Reed. This was approved by the Board of Education by the following vote: 4 yes and 0 no. A motion was made by Ms. Smith and seconded by Mr. Peden and approved the elementary school assistant principal for Midland Elementary, Brittany Squalls. This was approved by the Board of Education by the following vote: 4 yes, 0 no. Dr. Verde, can you please introduce our employees?
Thank you so much, Mr. Peden, and congratulations again to each of our new employees joining the Moreno Valley Unified School District family. We are very excited to have them come on board and be a part of our team. And so we'd like to, again, welcome them and give them an opportunity to say a few words to our school board. First up, the new assistant principal at Midland Elementary School, Ms. Brittany Squalls. We're really excited to have her bring her expertise at the elementary level and specifically as a resource teacher as well, K-5. She's been in education since 2012. And we're glad to welcome her as a part of our team. Ms. Squalls, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here and to be a part of the Moreno Valley Unified School District. And I just want to thank everybody that was on the interview panel, especially Dr. Kedziora. And I'm just excited to serve under his leadership and serve in the Moreno Valley community. Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations again. And next up, my honor to introduce you all to the new Towngate Elementary School principal. That's Nicole Matthews Hardy. And again, likewise, we're so excited to have Nicole join our team with her history of expertise in special education and general education programs. She's been an educator going back to 2000 in a variety of positions. And again, we're really excited to welcome her to Moreno Valley and to Towngate. Ms. Matthews, if you'd like to say a few words, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. I want to thank the school board for your vote of confidence and also thank Dr. Kedziora for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again and welcome to you. And finally, Dr. Todd Reed is being approved tonight as our new Edgemont Elementary School Assistant Principal. Dr. Reed, again, welcome to Moreno Valley, and thank you for choosing us, as it were, and bringing your expertise and all of your experience along with you to our district, and we're happy to have you serve our students. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you specifically to the board for your vote of confidence this evening, and the cabinet, including Dr. Kedziora, for allowing me to be a part of your organization. I hope to service with distinction for many, many years. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. And again, congratulations to the three of you and welcome aboard. I'll hand it back over to you, Mr. Peden.
Thank you, Dr. Verde, and congratulations, everybody. We are ecstatic to have you on board. Thank you for everything that you do and leading the next future generation here in our Moreno Valley community. And of course, I want to open up to my fellow colleagues on the Board of Education, as well as Dr. Kidziora, if they wanted to add anything and give you a congratulations as well. Board?
I'd just like to say welcome. I'm excited about new vice principals coming on board. These are schools that I'm very familiar with. I know Edgemont and Towngate are both close to my house. So I'm excited about having you on board, and I know Midland very well as well. So welcome, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Well, I want to say congratulations to the three of you, and thank you for choosing to come and work for Moreno Valley Unified School District. And I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to meet you in person. And please know that we are here to support you too, and we want our students to succeed. And to be able to accomplish that, we want to make sure that you succeed too. So once again, thank you for choosing us, and welcome, and congratulations to all of you. Good luck to you.
And I would like to also add my congratulations to all of you for, number one, choosing our great district as a place that you would love to work with. And then again, congratulations for the wonderful interviews that you guys had. And now that you will be working with us to make our team even better than what we are right now. So congratulations. Thank you guys very much. We know that you guys have a lot of professionalism and expertise from past jobs. So we are looking forward to you applying some of those skills here and then teaching us as much as you can. And then having a successful tour of duty here while you're at Moreno Valley Unified. Congratulations.
So I just want to tell you, I don't know where Nicole went, but y'all, you can tell her I said this, but I just can't wait for you to get started. I wrote down everything y'all said, and I can't wait to see you do it. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you once again, and congratulations. You can hang out with us for 4 hours if you like in this meeting and get all the in-depth knowledge that you can about the district, or you can attend to your families and enjoy your night. You all have a wonderful night. Okay, now we're on to item E, Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Luke Rivera, transitional kindergarten student from Northridge Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Luke Rivera. I am TK at Northridge. Please stand and pledge your allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of United America and to the republic which is down one nation under God, indivisible, with and justice for all. Thank you. Your baby's seated.
Wonderful job.
Luke is without a doubt a next future leader here in Moreno Valley. Thank you, Luke, for that wonderful Pledge of Allegiance. I think everybody shares the same thoughts on that. Okay, now we are moving on to E2, dates of future board meetings. We're going to break away from just simply acknowledging the future board meetings and their dates on the calendar. We also need to address the new bill number 361 that was signed by the governor on September 16th, 2021. This bill until January 31st, 2022 would authorize, subject to specified notice and accessibility requirements, a legislative body as defined for the purpose of the act to hold public meetings through teleconferencing and to make public meetings accessible telephonically or otherwise electronically to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the legislative body. So in quick summary, this gives us the authority as a board, a governing body, to allow for us to continue on the path that we've been on, to have virtual meetings and not have in-person meetings. So of course that decision needs to be made by the Board of Education. So we wanted to have a quick discussion about that and see how you all feel about moving forward, whether it be in virtual or moving into in-person meetings. And we'll just open the discussion. If anybody has any insight.
I have a question.
What?
I thought when I read something about this bill on my own, I thought that we had to set up a place for people to come if they wanted to be a speaker at the meeting, if they wanted to make a public comment. Do we have to set up some place where they can come in and make their public comments in person, even though we may be virtual?
Claudia, do you want to answer that?
Ms. Smith, those rules are still suspended through the Brown Act. So
Okay.
no, we do not need to make any locations open to the public.
Okay, that was my question.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Ms. Holguin, Mr. Johnson, do you have any feedback on this? This item? I'm looking at wondering if, I guess the question at hand is, do we want to continue on virtually through the timeline here to January 31st and revisit?
Well, while I would like to be together, I think my likes and dislikes will come in secondary. I mean, if we're going to do something like that, I think we need to have approval from certain agencies and things like that. And then each one of us have to be comfortable. And I don't think that we're comfortable right now. This is not my choice. However, these are times when all of us, especially us that's in America, are going through some things that we've never gone through before. So we just have to adjust to it like we've done before and other issues. And then one day we'll be back together again. But I don't see a reason to rush something that folks who are in charge of that don't see fit for us people to be doing it themselves. So while I would rather be together, I also understand and I'm quite comfortable doing what we're doing right now.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Holguin?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say that as you explained, with the approval of Assembly Bill number 361, we have the ability to continue our meetings virtually, and but with the understanding that there's still access to the public for public comments. And I appreciate Mrs. Smith's question. Some of the provisions of the law have been still suspended or are still suspended. So that's one of those. But the fact that we have to still allow for public comments is still there, just so that the people know, the community knows. But we will, as far as from my perspective, we can still continue conducting business this way, which is the important part, and still allow the public to comment. So I welcome the opportunity to stay this way, and I'm in support of that. Still, again, with the opportunity for the public to make comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. So I think, Dr. Kiziora, I think you have direction. Do you have any questions or anything regarding moving forward?
I'd like for Claudia, I think she has something I'd like for her to say.
Okay.
I just want to reassure the board and the public that we accept public comments in many formats. They can call in, they email me, they can text me. We do it via the online form. So we have many forms for the public to be able to submit a public comment. I just want to reassure that to the board.
Mr. Holguin?
Yeah, one more comment that I think this is important too. I believe somewhere in that bill, there's a provision that we have to discuss this every 30 days, correct? So we have to make sure that we have that conversation every 30 days so that we can consider remaining virtually or switching to in person. So
that is correct, Mr. Holguin.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. That was important to note. Dr. Kiziora, do you have anything?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Board, before we move on, are we good? All right, seeing no objection, we'll be moving on to E3, school reports. High school student representative Valerie Rivera, 12th grade student from Moreno Valley High School, will give her school report at this time.
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Valerie.
Thank you. So, good evening, President Peden, board members, Superintendent Dr. Kinziora, and Cabinet. I'm Valerie Rivera, the ASB President of Moreno Valley High School. I'm here to share the exciting and wonderful events that Moreno Valley High School has been up to so far for this school year. Viking staff have been celebrating the academic achievements of our students and offering opportunities for students to be successful all year. Over 200 students have participated in our Saturday academies, where students are given the opportunity to not only make up their attendance, but to engage in stimulating activities and receive tutoring. We have also been recognizing students of the week. Each department is given the opportunity to recognize a student that they feel has been respectful, responsible, and resilient. The following students have been recognized so far: Brenda Hernandez, Landon Lopez, James Velarde, and Benny Ovando. Teachers have also chosen a student of the month within their classes to be recognized for following our Viking way. And Principal Brown goes by every classroom to recognize the students with our Viking mascot by her side. All students of the month are then entered into a drawing to win a special prize, and September's winner is Jason Aguana. Vikings have been busy promoting college and career readiness. We've had several activities during lunch and will continue to create a college career environment throughout the year. Our first activity was for students to create college pennants and masks. Last Friday and every Thursday for the rest of the year will be College T-shirt Day. This Monday was our cap and gown meet and greet, where teachers wore their college graduation gown to model our belief that all students can go to college if they choose to. Today was our Moreno Valley College Application Day, where students completed their college application during the school day. Our next activity will be the college door decoration contest, where all teachers were asked to decorate their classroom door with a college or university of their choice. Our FAFSA workshops will continue to be held until the college application window closes. The college workshop and virtual college fair will be well attended by seniors at Moreno Valley High School. We're excited to participate in all of the college career awareness opportunities that are being offered to us. Our student athletes have been competing in volleyball, football, water polo, cross country, and girls tennis. Our volleyball and football teams are competing for league championships. Some notable events coming up are our homecoming game this Friday, boys water polo competing to make the playoffs, and our volleyball team competing against Vista Lago tomorrow. We also have exceptional students like Cristina De La Serna and Alondra Ruiz, who set personal records at their last cross-country event. Girls volleyball has also been exemplifying our school's passion and pride during each and every one of their games this season. They are one of our campus's greatest examples of students coming together and supporting one another out of their admiration and care for each other. Girls tennis has already begun their league games with exceptional enthusiasm. Despite the shortage of players, the team has attended every game without fail. They have continued to go on just as strong as when their season began and are competing against Orange Vista today. Their season will be coming to an end this month, and their final game has been scheduled for October 21st. Our water polo team will be competing against Canyon Springs tomorrow. We look forward to supporting respectful, responsible, and resilient student athletes as the athletic competition continues. As for our clubs, they are up and running. We have the Maddie Project, which is for students who are grieving the loss of a loved one, Interact, Team, Skills USA, Robotics, French Club, Black Student Union, Journalism, ROTC, American Sign Language, Dance, Theater, Choir, and of course, our Associated Student Body Club. Some of our clubs have already begun working in our community. For example, our Club Interact has recently begun their community service activities within our city. Last Friday, they were given the chance to help out at our city's Rotary Club event. The 10 students who were present that night did exceptionally well, and they were invited by the Rotary Club to return for their Thanksgiving event and were offered many other volunteer opportunities off our campus. Our awesome ROTC cadets have been taking care of our campus and representing the Viking way through being responsible. They voluntarily engage in campus beautification every Wednesday without fail. They also have been given the opportunity to demonstrate their flag presentation during our homecoming game this Friday during the halftime event. We started off this year with the Viking promise from students and staff. Each staff member and student wrote a promise on a 3x5 index card related to being respectful, responsible, and resilient for the entire 2021 through the 2022 school year. The Viking promise check-in for students and staff will be at the end of this semester. Anti-bullying activities at MVHS this month will include several events. One of these events is the anti-bullying bingo event. This activity will allow students to engage in random acts of kindness with one another, and we will also be passing out kindness pins. These pins can be traded around by students without them knowing, and they'll eventually find them, hopefully, and brighten their day. And another thing we will be doing is leading a MVHS Blue Out Day to take a stand against bullying and promote our Stop Bullying icon on our district devices. As for Hispanic heritage activities in our world language classes, they have continued to go on as per Hispanic Heritage Month. Our world language staff have created engaging activities that not only celebrate the Hispanic culture, but share the language in an academic setting. Our homecoming festival and dance was a huge success with 190 students attending. Some of our clubs on campus operated game booths and had great success. We will also be announcing our homecoming court this Thursday, and we will be celebrating them at our homecoming football game this Friday. Our wonderful Viking teachers have been participating in the passing of the Millennium. The Millennium is given to teachers and staff in honor of those who are the epitome of the Viking way. This is also an opportunity for teachers to connect with one another and for students to be shown an example of what a Viking is. This concludes my report, and thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Valerie, so much for your update. We really do appreciate you getting in depth with us and letting us know what's going on in your high school. We really do appreciate that. Board, I don't know if we have any questions. I don't personally have any questions. Any questions at this time? Okay, seeing none. Valerie, thank you again. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
You too. Okay, now we're moving on to E4, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Kidziora.
Thank you, Mr. Payton. So I'm going to go to the next slide, which is the district's vision and mission and the portrait of a graduate, the goals and the outcomes and the 11 commitments. And I really appreciate the community who comes in to see me and address the 11 commitments and the employees that work here. And that's one of their goals, is to really aspire to these every day. And they're a reminder to us that even though things are difficult, that we have ways of addressing and being together. So I just want to point that out, and I thank the people who bring that into me and show me that. And as I go through this PowerPoint, I like to remind the public that each slide has a goal on it, and the goal is related to our strategic plan, and there are outcomes on there, and this is how we achieve the goals in that strategic plan. So I just want you to know each of these has a purpose, and that's why we have Excellence on Purpose. So on the first slide, I want to tell you about a student, and this is in our portrait of a graduate. One of the qualities that we want every student to possess is communication. And this is Justin Settle, who attends the 8th grade at Mountain View Middle School. And he's very committed to the Superintendent's Advisory Committee meeting. And last month, because of different issues, we were unable to have the meeting. And Justin emailed and told me that there was an LCAP meeting today at 1:30, but I've never received a link in the meeting and still today. And can someone send me the link to Zoom? I just want to say how responsible that is and how much we appreciate that. And we've communicated the future meetings, but I appreciate that Justin always is present and serves and supports our community, but is always making sure that he is on time for those meetings. So thank you, Justin. And then this next student is at Canyon Springs High School. And her name is Emily Scattergood, and she's in the 12th grade at Canyon Springs. And this was a report from her grandmother, who said to me that I was at El Grito, and I met her granddaughter there. She's in ROTC. And she said that how proud she was that Emily had gone from someone who was having difficulty to an honor student. And she wants to thank Canyon Springs High School, Michelle Gomez, who was the counselor who helped, but the whole school for being supportive of her granddaughter and helping her achieve great things when she was having some difficulty. And so that's perseverance. So congratulations, Emily. And then Oscar Cardoso is a student at Valley View High School, and he joined Pacific Crest this year, which is a drum and bugle corps that comes to our community each year. And he became part of that. And we want to congratulate him because he's a trumpet player. And that takes a lot of dedication and collaboration with a group of people that come from all over Southern California. And he was recognized for those contributions for the 2021 season. And so congratulations, Oscar, for all that you do and how you help support our community. And then in the 11 commitments, I want to recognize Sylvia Thomas, who's a health clerk at Canyon Springs High School. And I want to thank her for listening to understand. There have been multiple issues this year with different people and COVID and the pandemic. And Sylvia transferred from Towngate to Canyon Springs this year. And, in construction and different things, there were a lot of different, challenges. And she has risen to the challenge and has done a great job there and really supports her school and supports our district. So thank you, Sylvia. And then I want to thank Wendy Ashley, who's a parent at Canyon Springs High School and their band boosters. She was really committed to our district and making sure that we had this band festival. And they did everything using COVID protocols. And this was her first year working on this event, but it's an important fundraising opportunity for the marching band at Canyon Springs High School, as the funds earned from the event provide a path for the kids to be able to participate in other parades and other contests, field competitions, and pays for the specialty coaches we have for the percussion, flag team, and marching instructor. And I want to thank Miss Ashley and her family for being just committed to our community and supporting the students, especially in band at Canyon Springs High School. And then I want to thank Ralph Reuter and Amanda Denniston. They work in two different departments. Ralph is the SELPA coordinator for mental health services, and Amanda is the CWA coordinator for student services department. And they've begun working on a proposal to address substance abuse issues that have arisen this year. As you know, as students have returned from the pandemic, there are increased issues with different areas of social emotional support. And one of those is substance abuse. And they've been proactive in providing resources, but also developing a program to help students become better versions of themselves and address those issues. So I thank them for their continued collaboration and their support of our children and our community. This next one is Enhance the Community Through Action, Toby Boucher. And this weekend, for the first time, we had a golf tournament for the Moreno Valley Education Foundation. And this is to raise money to give teacher grants and students support. And he just did so many things that made this happen. And I think sometimes people thought it wasn't going to happen, but he persevered and really brought people together. And on the next slide, you see the people that were there this weekend enjoying golf at Tuckwick Canyon in Beaumont. And I do want to thank the cabinet, Susanna Lopez, Dr. Verdi, and Maribel Maddox. They were all there. I couldn't be there this weekend, but I asked them all to go, and they were all there riding in golf carts, registering people, playing golf, being part of it. But I want to thank all the employees, and I want to thank the Moreno Valley Education Foundation for their commitment to our community. This has great promise as to what can happen, and there are foundations in many communities. And these are the kinds of opportunities that help a community become better and work together to solve problems or solve issues that may not be funded or may not be something that can be readily done through their agency. I do want to thank the Classified School Employees Association. Jolynn Neal was out there playing, and Corey Moore from the Moreno Valley Education Association, and Sam Stager from AmVamp, and just everyone who had a part in making this happen. There's also I don't know if you know this, but there's a web page for the Moreno Valley Education Foundation. You can find it. Josh Combs, who works in technology here, is instrumental in facilitating technological issues with the foundation, but supporting them and helping them make all these things happen. So it's really a lot of community people, a lot of district people, but it's a very proud moment in our school district, because this is something we've been wanting to do for a long time. And I want to thank Toby and everyone on the board, and just the cabinet and the support they provided this weekend. And then you may not know this, but every weekend we have football games, and sometimes we've had different issues where we needed more support because of just different reasons why people couldn't be there. And there were on this particular weekend, Miss Kerr was very excited because she needed some help. They had homecoming, and they had over 1,300 tickets sold, and the crowd was very large and exuberant. And she said having them actively present was helpful in maintaining order, especially with our younger students who hadn't been to school, from the pandemic, and this was their first homecoming. Despite rumors of planned disruption, your visibility and amazing crowd management skills ensured a safe event for our school. So I want to thank Maribel Maddox, who's our Chief Academic Officer, John Black, our Director of College and Career Readiness, Dr. Sheffield, who's the Director of Student Services, Rafael Garcia, the principal of Landmark Middle School, Aisha Smith, the assistant principal at Landmark Middle School, Diane Cobian, who's the academic administrator of instructional improvement and academic coaching at Landmark Middle School, and Daryl Scott, our director of safety and security, who were called at the last minute that evening to come help at this event, and they showed up and supported Mrs. Kerr. And so that's the kind of people who work in our district. And I can't tell you how proud I am of them, but how much I appreciate them. And then this is our Human Resources Department. They have a person missing there, but present there is Maribel Escobar, Dr. Verdi, Robin Romero, and Jason Barney, who's not in the picture, but they are leaders and accept the responsibility and sacrifice ensuring equity for all. And Rafael Garcia, who's the principal of Landmark, wrote an email and said, good afternoon. I want to commend our HR department. The staff has been beyond amazing during this extra busy summer. I'm especially thankful for their tremendous help in filling the many positions that I had open. The analysts and specialists have all been great, but I especially want to recognize Alicia Peel and Dominique Alvarado. They work closely with our site. They are kind, flexible, attentive, and understand how their work impacts our students. I also want to share how much I appreciate the mentorship and guidance of Mr. Barney and Mrs. Escobar. The think alouds and talking points that they have helped me with have enabled me to navigate through a number of issues successfully. Thank you for your leadership. Stay safe and take care. And I really appreciate when other people compliment and show their gratitude for what people do. And I want to thank Human Resources under the leadership of Dr. Verdi for having this kind of department and team. So thank you very much. This next slide, I want you to know, I just wanted to give the board an update. Our enrollment for 2020-21 is 31,542. And the enrollment for 2021-22 is 31,672. And, Ms. Lopez does a great job the 2 years that she's been here of doing projections. And last year, her projections were 31,092 students. So as you can see, we've exceeded our projections, and we're very pleased with our enrollment. We're working on our attendance. That's a whole nother concern, but we're very proud to have this many students to serve and support every day. So I just wanted to let the board know that, and to thank everyone for choosing Moreno Valley to come to school and let us serve your children and families, and thank all the teachers and classified staff who serve the 31,672 students. And one of the things we're really proud of is our AP Scholar Report. John Black, who's the Director of College and Career Readiness. This is one of his responsibilities, but every year we look at this. And as you know, in 2019, we were one of the 3 districts in the nation to be recognized as Advanced Placement District of the Year. You can see that every high school has representation of AP Advanced Placement Scholars. This wasn't always true in Moreno Valley, and we're very proud of that. Canyon Springs had 20 Advanced Placement Scholars, 2 AP Scholars with distinction, and there were, I think, 12 AP Scholars with distinction, and or with the high honors. And then at Vista Lago, there were 14 AP scholars, 6 AP Scholars with honor, and 2 AP Scholars with distinction. Valley View High School, there were 27 AP Scholars, 9 AP Scholars with honor, 10 AP Scholars with distinction. And Moreno Valley High School had 7 AP Scholars, 1 AP Scholar with honor. We will always work to improve these and to continue to develop our children's abilities and their ability to perform. This is one demonstration of an improvement, and is why one of the reasons why all 4 of our high schools last year were in the U.S. News World Report of America's Best High Schools. And so we're extremely proud of that. I wanted to share these 2 students. The Society for Science and Broadcom Foundation, they announced that 300 competitors in the nation's premier STEM competitor for middle school students. The Broadcom Masters seeks to inspire young scientists, engineers, and innovators to solve the grand challenges of the 21st century. 58% of the top 300 masters identify as girls, while 43.3% identify as boys, and the students selected come from 1,841 entrants from 41 states. Well, the best news is 2 of them are from Moreno Valley Unified School District. Diego Ruiz, who's a 7th grader at Vista Heights Middle School, and Paloma Vargas, who's an 8th grader at Vista Heights Middle School. And this is what the grade they were in last year, but they were chosen for this society, the Society for Science. And we're very proud of that, what they accomplished. And we hope to have students again in that program this year. We want to thank, on the next slide, Kwali Leonard for what he does in our community. You know, he attended Cloverdale, Palm Middle, and Canyon Springs High School. He did a backpack giveaway and Clippers game attendance to Palm Middle School students in 2020. He gave backpacks to the entire student body of our district, all 33,000 students. And he hinted at a partnership with the city of Moreno Valley for a park project, and we were there and he did do that. But I just want to thank the board for being there that day. But I want to thank Kwali Leonard for, am I saying his name right? Kauai, sorry. Kwali Leonard for contributing to our community. And we look forward to more great opportunities for him to support us in our school district and especially our students. So we want to thank him for that. I want to thank El Grito. That was the Independence Day that was celebrated on September 15th. The district supports that and participated in that. And we were present there. I was there that evening along with other board members. And Mr. Holguin was on the committee to plan and develop this, but in a partnership with the city. And so we're very proud of that, very proud of our children, what they did, and our community members. And then I want to thank the historically Black colleges and universities, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, which is a local organization. They had an impact day on September 20th, and it far exceeded the goal as the country's first Black sorority received online donations and checks from local AKA chapters, private donors, and corporate matching dollars from across the globe. In the 4th year of HBCU Impact Day, they were honored and pleased to have doubled the giving. In our district, we have many people who belong to this. Penny Macon, who is a retired administrator, Dr. Lynn Sheffield, Dr. Melanie Harris, and many others have worked diligently as raising more than $1 million in 24 hours for historically Black colleges and universities. And each year they exceed their goal. So thank you for what you contribute, and our students benefit because of this, and we wanted to thank them for their contribution. Thank you. We're very proud of our positive behavior interventional supports in our district. Our schools compete in this every year. Thank you to Vicki Chavez, who's our PBIS coordinator, and Dr. Lynn Sheffield, who's the Director of Student Services. Silver means they met 70% or better on the tiered fidelity inventory assessment at 2 or more PBIS tiers. And bronze means they met 40% or better on the tiered fidelity inventory assessment on PBI's tier 2. You can imagine during the pandemic, it was very difficult because we weren't in school to complete these surveys and inventories that are required for recognition. But these schools were recognized at the 6th annual PBIS conference in Sacramento, September 13th through 15th. And this is Mrs. Chavez, our PBIS coordinator, was there to represent our schools and to accept the award on behalf of our district. 29 schools in Moreno Valley Unified School District were recognized, and we're very proud of what they're accomplishing and continuing to work on. Dr. Arce has continued to develop a comprehensive literacy state development grant. This is a 3-year grant from 2021 to 2024. The total grant award is $386,000. All 6 middle schools participate. And one of the things that I really appreciate is we were one of 5 districts in the state chosen for priority 7 of the state literacy plan. And this is an exciting program as it has successful approaches to meet the literacy development of our students, to build the capacity of effective literacy instructions for students with disabilities, improve student outcomes with a focus on students with disabilities, reduce disproportionality, and create a replicable model that can be shared with others across the state. And I want you to know this is changing what's happening in literacy in our district. So thank you, Dr. Arce, and all the middle school principals, but especially the students who participate. This was an excellent idea by Vista Lago High School to increase connection with the staff and their football team. The players nominate the teachers to wear their jersey on game night. And so as you can see, Mrs. Rathbun, Mr. Torres, Mrs. Baca are pictured there. They are wearing their students' jerseys, and the players nominated them. It's a great connection for a school, and it's jersey night. Thank you, Dr. Dunhams and Dr. Arce, for working on this, but I'd like to see this at every school. I think it's a wonderful opportunity and a way to make sure everyone feels connected to our programs. At Canyon Springs High School, they received a $500 award for the theater program. Autumn Earl Rodriguez is new there this year, and she's doing a lot to change the program and develop it under Mrs. Kerr's leadership as the principal. And they have so many new things there, and there'll be more funds coming because of this. But it's one of a few applications and grants that were awarded during this pandemic. So thank you to Autumn Earl Rodriguez and what she does in theater. And then I want you to know that Canyon Springs High School has had a wonderful year in football this year. Yes, they've lost some, but they've won some. And I just want you to know they've won 4 games, and that's excellent compared to their past seasons. They have a new coach. Justin Remming is the athletic director. And I want to say the coach's name right now. He's pictured right there by Mr. Holguin and Mr. Johnson, but I can't think of it right now. And that's terrible. But somebody's going to text it to me, I know. And I just want to thank them, the football team. We built that new stadium up there, Mrs. Kerr, the leadership, and the pride. If you go to a football game there, the stands are full, and it's just amazing the transformation that's happened. So congratulations to them. This is college kickoff on the next slide. And, this was a wonderful day. I visited 4 schools that morning: Northridge Elementary, Ramona Elementary, Badger Springs, and Vista del Lago High School. And you can see in these pictures the excitement that students and staff had as that day began. And very proud of what's been accomplished under John Black, our Director of College and Career Readiness, and what's happened this whole week and what continues to happen. I want you to see just a little bit of this video. We're not going to show you the whole thing. You'll want to see it, but you're not going to see the whole thing. But I just want you to see these kids and what they're doing at schools to develop the mindset, the ability to go further and to think more. And this is what happens. And so please join me in enjoying this.
Ole, 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 gauchos, gauchos.
I mean, there's a whole lot more, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate what people did and how much they encourage our students to be the best versions and do everything they can to succeed and go on to college. And it starts, as you saw, in transitional kindergarten, I think even preschool. I want everyone to know in our community, we're very proud that we were selected as an exemplar district in community engagement. We belong to a project called the Community Engagement Initiative, known as CEI. And Moreno Valley Unified School District was featured to talk about the needs of stakeholders in their community by using the root cause analysis of student and family engagement, framing of the 6 core root causes of ineffective community engagement. We talked about how to become better community partners with people. And Dr. Dana Dunham's the principal of Vista de Lago High School was featured. Ashish Bahiki, who is a student, who's a senior at Vista de Lago High School, and Dr. Arce, the director of secondary education, and myself did this as a web series. And the episode was as people have watched it, and I just want to make the community aware because of our community wellness center. We're looked at and our parent ambassadors as a leader in how to engage community and how to help develop better support for our families and community. So we're very proud of that. And I just wanted to let people know about that. And this Thursday on October 14th from 8:30 to 11:15, John Black, who's the director of college and career readiness, this is his week. This is a free event designed to connect students with college representatives throughout the United States. And it's a virtual college and senior career fair. And last year we had a couple of thousand students on this. And there's also a fundraiser to help support students and teachers for classroom grants. So we're very excited about this. And then this Saturday, we have another opportunity for vaccines, health screenings, groceries, haircuts, shoes, clothes, and more. This is through Jeff Hewitt's office, Supervisor Jeff Hewitt, and we're partnering with Riverside University Health System, Sigma Beta Xi. You can see them at the bottom there. I can't read them all, but we're very proud, Riverside University Health System, Southern California Gas. We're very proud to partner with them to offer this to our community at Vista de Lago High School. And I hope you'll join us there. It's going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. And there's registration links there to pre-register. And they have the Pfizer vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and then they have health services and pre-screening. But I want to thank Dr. Sheffield and Anna E. Velasco and Student Services. That this is about the 4th or 5th one that we've had this year of vaccine clinics and health and resource fairs. And we have one today outside at our district office. But, you know, it's really important to offer additional opportunities to families and community during this very uncertain time. So I'm just really proud of all the people that help with that. And then I've known this for a while, but Jay Westover and Chris Steinhauser, who's the former superintendent of Long Beach, they're writing a new book called Schools and Districts on the Move. And in this new book excerpt, Moreno Valley Unified School District is referenced. So it's a case study that's in there. And they sent this to me a while ago to approve, but they talked about how the graduation rate in 2011 was 69.9%, and it's now over 90%. The A through G course completion rate has improved, and the advanced placement exams, being the advanced placement district of the year, one of 3 in the nation in 2019, they highlighted this journey, emphasizing the power of focus and continuous improvement. And so we'll be part of this book, and I'll be sure to let you know when it's released. But I'm very proud of that, and our students, what they've achieved and accomplished during this time. But it's just a really honor. And last year, all 4 high schools were in the U.S. News U.S. News and World Report is being recognized as the best high schools in the United States. So it's a lot of accomplishment and achievement that sometimes we may not realize if we aren't doing this every day, or people don't know. But to be recognized in a book that's being published, I think is a huge compliment to the board, the community, and our district for what they've done during these past 10 years to change what's happened in Moreno Valley. And then this is required, but I'm going to share with you. This is our Moreno Valley Unified School District dashboard highlights. And this is for the 2021 California Department of Education required local updates for the following priorities. And you'll find this in priority number 1, appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum, school facilities, implementation of state academic standards, parent engagement, priority number 3, and priority number 6, school climate, and priority number 7, access to a broad course of study. So this is a requirement that we review these at a board meeting, and this is done annually. And so on the next slide, you'll see that we talk about the number of misassignments, that's 0, and the number of students without access to copies of the standards, that's 0. But one of them that I found a little troubling was this one: the number of identified instances where facilities do not meet the good repair standard. And Anthony Pipkins is aware of this, and this includes deficiencies and extreme deficiencies, and there were 19, I guess, out of 42 sites. But these are different reasons why they are identified, but they are corrected. That's one of the things that is really important. On this next slide, priority number 2, implementation of state academic standards. This gives you different curriculums as they are implemented in our district. And you can see newer ones maybe at a 3, like next generation science standards. Mathematics is a 4. The others are 5, but that means they're fully implemented, and there's sustainability in what's happening, and there's progress there in helping students. On this next one, this is priority number 3, building relationships. One of the things we pride ourselves in is an equity plan at every school and looking at equity within our district. And we rate ourselves as a 3, but I do want you to know, we know there's work to be done in many areas. That's why we continue to work on this. And there's a team behind every dream, as Nicole Anderson says, and she works with our principals and our cabinet and her consulting firm to help build better versions of our schools and to make sure that students and faculty are supported. Priority number 6 is on school climate, and Moreno Valley Unified School District surveyed students in grades 3 through 12 in the spring of 2021 in order to have a broader understanding of how our students feel about climate and connectedness during distance learning. Elementary, 78%, felt connected. The climate during distance learning, and school connectedness was 77%. In secondary, it was 74% on climate during distance learning, and school connectedness was 60%. We know that we have to do more now that students are back in person to develop stronger connections. Is there something wrong?
We lost you hearing, but the public can still hear you.
Okay. I just see people shaking their head and pointing their fingers. And I'm like, I don't see the board doing that, but I see other people around me. Am I okay? Okay. I feel like, is the airplane flying? Okay. So go to the next slide, please. And so is it not moving on here? On mine. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the right slide. I know this is long, a little longer than usual, but these are required. Priority number 6 is school climate strategies. And the district is commended for maintaining or augmenting to help students. There are full-time counselors at every school. There are 7 at every high school, 3 at every middle school, and 1 at every elementary school. And there are 2 at each of our alternative schools. There are also additional counselors within the district who are available for crisis and intervention. So there is a host of people, and that's just, I'm not getting into everything. There's social worker interns. There are 13. There are 2 full-time social workers within the district, and there are 7 behavior support specialists. We have restorative practices, PBIS, and STEAM, but there are many more that are a part of this, but that's to make a more positive climate within the school district. When priority number 7 is access to a broad course of study and multi-tiered systems of support, MTSS is very important. Our International Baccalaureate program, our Advanced Placement program, which is very broad and rigorous, and you can see the success of students. We have middle school students who pass the Advanced Placement exam now. AVID program, which is an elementary through high school. We have an inclusion model in special education, and all of these are contributing to across the board course of study for all students, but to help students have better experiences as they go through the Moreno Valley Unified School District. So that's the priorities, and I went through all of those, and that's a requirement that we present those at a board meeting. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that was required. And just some reminders, we have a parent project composed of 9 weekly sessions. The next one is Thursday, October 14th. You can sign up at any time. And we just give us 24 hours, it will change your life. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. And then one of the things that we're very proud of is the marketing and outreach. We're doing a lot of innovative things to help people join our team. We need bus drivers. We have all kinds of classified positions, certificated positions. You can see there's a car in the parking lot there that has a magnet on the side of it. And when people drive around, if they want to put one of these magnets on their car to attract people to our district, we'll give you one. Because we know that it's not just the one way now, it's many ways that we have to connect with people. And there's signage at schools and vehicles, yard signs, flyers. I want to thank Dr. Verdi, Anna E. Velasco, her, and the Human Resources team, Robin Romero, all of them for being out there today under the tent. We have tent, HR, pop-up events, and we have teacher openings. We have all kinds of openings. So please apply and join us. We need your help in supporting our children and families in our community. And tonight is a very sad night in our district. You may have heard that Mr. Peden is resigning as of tonight. This is his final board meeting. And we want him to know that we shine brighter with excellence on purpose because of him. I'll say more at the end of the board meeting, but Mr. Peden, I was surprised. I was looking over this with Claudia, and I said, he was here for our greatest year, live to rise, focus forward, and reimagine. And I didn't realize that, So you've been here. And his years of service from 2018 to 2021. And he's our board president. And I want y'all to know that every year in December, we give our board president this kind of recognition because it takes additional time and support to serve our school district. And so, Mr. Peden, we will be giving this to you, although you're not receiving it right now. I bet you feel it. And this will look great in your new office. And, go. It's a legacy of what you've done here in leadership. So we want to thank you. And then, because, I don't know. You can't have enough faces, Daryl Peden. And this says, and every time you put something in here, you're going to think about Moreno Valley, which is what we want. So the Moreno Valley Unified School District thanks you for your tireless work and commitment to our students, families, and staff. And that's on there, and it has your name on it too. So, I mean, now I'm trying to move where you can see it, but it's there.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Yeah, well, you deserve it. And, we also want you to remember us too, because I know you're not going far, but
no.
we just want to thank you and let you know how much you mean to us.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
And then on this next slide, it says, this is Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. And from 1938 to 1999, a humanitarian and community activist who was very involved with the welfare of local students in Moreno Valley Unified School District was Remilio Ruiz, who the building is named after, the district office. It's the Community Education Center. And when I became superintendent, his whole family met with me in my conference room, and I'm still waiting on that information for his statue. I've asked them to give me some information to put by his statue so that people know more about him and his legacy. But I want to thank his family, Alma Ruiz, who's the secretary at Serrano Elementary School, and Yvette Ruiz, who's a teacher at Midland Elementary School, and their children and their families. And I'm probably leaving somebody else that works here because it's a big family. But I just want to say thank you for what you've contributed to our community and how you serve and support all families, and what a legacy your father left to our community, and how proud I was to meet each of you and to have your support. So thank you for that. And then I'd like to say happy School Administrators Month. People say it was a week. It's been a whole month. They put on Facebook it was the month. So, okay. It's just like your birthday, you celebrate the whole month. So we want to thank all of our administrators, our school site administrators, for all that they do. And they have done a lot this year, more so. And we just are very proud of them. And we appreciate everyone. But when we have these opportunities, we like to thank people. And that, Mr. Peden, that concludes my report. And I know it was rather long this evening, but there were some required things I had to do. And so I appreciate the board's patience and understanding, but there's also a lot of good that happens in our community. And it just is so important to let people know all of these very positive experiences that we have, even though you may hear about a negative one sometimes we should repeat these more and let people know about these more. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Kiziora. I'm sure the board agrees that we do appreciate the work and effort that you and your team put into those presentations, and to really provide us with the information that we need to know all the great things that are going on in the district. All right, moving on to, and thank you again for those, that vase or vase, and also the plaque. That touched me in a lot of ways, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
E5, we're now on recognitions and communication and events. And so today we are looking at E5A, which is resolution number 2021-22-
question.
Yes, Ms. Smith.
When did we skip public comments?
I think we do that.
No, it's next, Ms. Smith. It's after the resolution.
After the resolutions.
Okay, great. Sorry.
And we don't have any this evening, Ms. Smith, but I thank you for asking, but we don't have any this evening.
I didn't want to miss anything.
No, thank you, Ms. Smith, for making sure that we don't miss those. All right, so we're on E5A, which is resolution number 2021-22-13, Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd to 31st, 2021. And we have a resolution. Of course, Mr. Johnson will be presenting the resolution tonight, but before we get there, we'd like to entertain a motion, if we can, to approve resolution number 2021-22-13 for Red Ribbon Week as presented.
I move to approve resolution 2021-22-13 Red Ribbon Week.
All right, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
A second that.
We have a second by Mr. Holguin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson. You're muted, Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. I'll pass it on to my colleague, Mr. Johnson, Vice President of the Board, to present this resolution, and he'll also describe or invite up Dr. Lynn Sheffield, who will be accepting the resolution.
If I may interrupt, Mr. Johnson, before you start, Dr. Sheffield and the counselor, Mrs. Gutierrez, were not able to join us this evening, but I do have our colleague Brenda Tellez. They did send a message.
Okay, so then I can just read some of it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
I'll just say, well, as we all heard, Dr. Sheffield is not in the area, and so she could not be with us. But in the meantime, we're still going to acknowledge this resolution and make the presentation to her. So we'll give it to her when she's back in the area. Moreno Valley Unified School District Resolution number 2021-22-13, Red Ribbon Week, October the 23rd through the 31st. Whereas Californians for Drug-Free Youth and Incorporated, a stateside parent community organization, the Office of the Governor, the Office of the Attorney General, the State Department of Alcohol, Drug Programs, the State Department of Education, the California Parent Teacher Association, and over 100 other statewide agencies, departments, and organizations are co-sponsoring October 23rd through the 31st, 2021 as Red Ribbon Week. Whereas parents, youth, schools, businesses, law enforcement, religious institutions, services, organizations, senior citizens, medical and military personnel, sports teams, and individuals throughout the state of California will demonstrate their commitment to drug health life ribbons this week-long celebration. Whereas drug abuse stands as one of the major challenges our state faces in securing a safe, healthy future for our children. And whereas the National Red Ribbon celebration is an effort initiated and inquired. Camarena, federal drug enforcement agent, that was the name, was murdered by drug traffickers in 1985. And this campaign calls attention to programs designed to promote drug-free abuse prevention and demonstrate support of a drug-free lifestyle. And whereas the board further commits resources to ensure the success of the Red Ribbon Week celebration and year-round tobacco, alcohol, and other drug prevention efforts, and whereas the board supports participation in the California Healthy Kids Survey during Red Ribbon Week, which furnishes critical statistical information needed to develop and promote an effective district-wide alcohol, tobacco, drug use, and violence prevention and intervention programs among students. And now, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District joins in proclaiming and observing October the 23rd through the 31st, 2021 as Red Ribbon Week. And be it further resolved that the board also encourages parents, teachers, students, and other school personnel, and also members of the community to participate in the Red Ribbon Week celebration. Activities to demonstrate their commitment to safe, tobacco, and drug-free schools communities. So it gives me great pleasure to present this Red Ribbon Resolution award to Mrs. Sheffield, Dr. Sheffield, who's not here, but we'll make sure that she gets she gets it when she returns. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson and Claudia, did Ms. Tellez have something to add?
So I'm going to read the comment provided by Dr. Sheffield. It is my honor to accept this resolution. Student Services is here to provide support for students, parents, and staff. We want to bring about awareness and start conversations about how to be drug-free. We aim to engage students, parents, and the community with fun and informative prevention activities. Red Ribbon Week takes place each year from October 23rd through 31st. It is meant to inspire kids to be drug-free and happy. We're excited to announce that 2021 National Ribbon Week theme, Drug-Free Looks Like Me. The theme is a reminder that everyday students across the country make significant daily contributions to their communities by being the best they can be because they live drug-free. One person can make a difference. We invite the community to join the movement. I also have a comment from school counselor Vanessa Escutia. Good evening, school board members, Dr. Kidziora and cabinet. On behalf of K through 12 school counselors, we are grateful for the opportunity to accept the Red Ribbon Week resolution. In honor of Red Ribbon Week, school counselors facilitate classroom guidance lessons and school-wide activities to demonstrate our commitment to a safe, tobacco, and drug-free school and community. School counselors also promote and assist with the development of effective tobacco, drug use, and violence prevention and intervention programs for our students. Thank you for your continued support as we work diligently to support our school and community with these efforts.
Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. Now we'll move on to E5B, which is for resolution number 2021-22-14 for Fall Digital Citizenship Week, October 11th through October 15th. This will, Moreno Valley Unified School District creates a unified national voice for digital inclusion. It shows support for our local organizations, public institutions, and businesses on the front lines offering digital inclusion programs. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-22-14 Fall Digital Citizenship Week, October 11th through the 15th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Holguin. Is there a second?
I can second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Holguin, and we'll do a second by Mr. Johnson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0, and we'll pass this on to my colleague, Mr. Holguin, who will present this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. And this evening, I would like to welcome Mr. Smiley Villavicencio, who is our Director of Professional Development and Digital Learning, to join me and accept this resolution. And I'm going to say a couple of things about the resolution, and then I'm going to read a couple of lines only on the resolution. So digital equity means everyone has adequate access and understanding of information and communication technologies, regardless of socioeconomic status, physical ability, language, race, or gender. Fall Digital Citizenship Week, which is celebrated October 11 through 15, 2021, is especially relevant as our students use technology for 21st century learning. All of our Moreno Valley Unified School District students have been provided a Chromebook, which they can use in the classroom or take home. The Fall Digital Citizenship Week focuses on online privacy, media online literacy, anti-bullying and positive online communities, digital leadership. Our professional development and digital learning department has demonstrated ongoing commitment to digital equity. And here's what I would like to read a couple of lines in the resolution, because I believe they are very important here. And one of them says, the Fall Digital Citizenship Week, through the professional development and digital learning staff, collectively provides programs and activities aligned with online privacy, media online literacy, anti-bullying and positive online communities, digital leadership. And I stress anti-bullying. I think that is an initiative that we have been following very closely in our district and practicing. Strategic actions and focus on serving our most digital marginalized students, such as foster youth, those with disabilities, and low-income families, addressing also equity issues in our district. And then the other line says that the Professional Development and Digital Learning Department demonstrated ongoing commitment to digital equity, has elevated the Moreno Valley Unified School District as a national leader. And this is critically important too, because we're not staying just within our limits within the school district, but we're going out nationally to demonstrate what are we doing here in our district. A national leader in digital inclusion efforts, keeping our students economically and culturally healthy in a rapidly changing communications technology landscape. I think those are critical points that the community needs to know, that this district, this board, and the entire Moreno Valley Unified School District family is committed to addressing those equity issues. So this evening, I thank my colleagues for adopting this resolution, and I'm honored to present it to Mr. Villavicencio. Mr. Villavicencio, would you please accept this resolution?
Gladly. Thank you, Mr. Holguin. And good evening, everyone. I would like to express my appreciation to the Board of Education and Dr. Kedziora, along with the Cabinet, for their support of the Fall Digital Citizenship Week. Fall Digital Citizenship Week affords activities and provides the support necessary to ensure all MVUSD students have opportunities to obtain digital equity and to fully participate in education, to attain the 21st century skills our students need to succeed in school and in life. Beginning this week and continuing throughout the month of October, all students in the Moreno Valley Unified School District will participate in lessons and activities that promote digital citizenship and engage in meaningful conversations about equity and mutual respect. Thank you again to the Board of Education, Dr. Kedziora, and Cabinet for recognizing the value of digital citizenship and equity for our students.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Okay, now we're moving on to E5C, resolution number 2021-22-16, adopting the official proclamation for National School Lunch Week, October 11th through the 15th, 2021. It's important to, make sure that National School Lunch Week be devoted to the recognition of everyone who contributes to the successful operation of our state's school lunch food service programs. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2021-22-16 for National School Lunch Weeks, October 11th, 15th, 2021, as presented. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve and the adoption of the official proclamation for National School Lunch Week.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I second that.
The second by Mr. Holguin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0, and my colleague, Ms. Smith, will be presenting this resolution tonight.
Yes, tonight we have Elizabeth Hernandez, Assistant Director of Nutrition Services, here with us to accept this resolution. But I would like to recognize not only Ms. Hernandez, but all of our nutrition and food services workers throughout the district who work very hard, especially this last year and a half through the pandemic. They have been out there every day feeding our students and making sure that kids in this district and in Moreno Valley are not going hungry. So I would like to thank them for that service. The National School Lunch Program has served our nation admirably for 59 years. The Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education recognizes that children who are provided breakfast and lunch daily are better prepared for the classroom environment. Being able to focus solely on their learning rather than on hunger or physical needs is important. It helps them to be better. It helps them to learn better. It is important for our community to understand that education and proper child nutrition go hand in hand. All students in our district have access to a healthy lunch and breakfast, and we are always looking for creative ways to inform students about the importance of eating a healthy balanced meal. We recognize and take great pleasure in commending the men and women who accept and meet the daily challenge of providing school lunches to our children. Our nutrition services staff have been working tirelessly every day since the pandemic began, always supporting our families. I know they're excited to serve students back on campus, continuing to serve with a smile. Therefore, we are happy to recognize October 11th to 15th, 2021 as National School Lunch Week. And I'd like to turn it over to Elizabeth Hernandez for a few words.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Exactly. I accept this proclamation on behalf of all of the amazing nutrition services staff that makes up the entire team. National School Lunch Week recognizes the importance of nutritious school lunch meals in a child's life and the important role that school nutrition staff play each school day. The theme of this National School Lunch Week this year is Wild About School Lunch. And this year, we are especially grateful that we have been granted the ability to allow all students to enjoy the benefits of school meals free of charge, making it easier for more students to access whole grains, fruits, and vegetables on a daily basis, which is the nourishment they need for success inside and outside the classroom. This proclamation also honors our dedicated school nutrition staff who have been tirelessly working to provide nourishing meals for students, whether it be curbside service, through the summer, and back in our school cafeterias. So on behalf of all of Nutrition Services, I thank you for this proclamation.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Hernandez. We do appreciate it. All right, let me find. Okay, now we're on to E6, staff responses to public comments made at previous meetings. Dr. Kiziora.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. There are three comments or three public comments that I'm going to respond to. One public comment was from a community member that questioned why we were following the guidelines that are set forth by our governor and by different agencies. As a public school district, we follow the guidelines and orders from the California Department of Public Health, as well as Cal OSHA. At this time, it is required that employees that do not show proof of vaccination undergo weekly testing, and employees are not required to have a vaccine. They can test if they do not want to get the vaccine. However, we are aware that the state is looking into FDA approval to require students to obtain COVID-19 vaccines, and the state has indicated that if students are required to have it, then it would apply to staff members as well. We do not have further information at this time, but we know that exemptions may be available, and they can contact Human Resources. Employees may, if they wish to have an exemption, and for students, that's not a requirement yet, so we don't have a system for that yet, but for employees, they can request an exemption through Human Resources. And then the second public comment was, this was a parent that I met with the weekend of October 2nd and 3rd, who brought me information about the guidelines. She also commented in our public comments about COVID-19, and the guidelines that we follow are from the Riverside County Department of Public Health regarding our quarantine protocols for students who tested positive for COVID-19. They need to isolate for the first 10 days from the positive test or from the date the symptom first appeared, as that is when they are infectious. As long as symptoms improve and they complete the 10 days, they can come back to school. They are not required to quarantine again within the next 90 days from the first positive test. This is reflected in our COVID-19 prevention program and is continuously reminded to our staff. That's why it's important that parents provide the health offices with test results and or participate in our testing option at the Welcome and Registration Center so that we have documentation in case the situation comes up. And I do want to say that we had a great conversation, and the parent shared a lot of information with me. But as I said, the board does not, this is not a requirement of the board or the superintendent. These are guidelines that we follow from the Riverside County Department of Public Health. And I did give this parent that information. The last one was a comment about the Temecula Valley football situation with Valley View High School. And I want you to know that the superintendent of Temecula Valley and Dr. Jody McClay and myself, the principals of the two high schools, Dr. Alan Williams and Mrs. Karen Johnson, and CIF representatives all met at Riverside County Office of Education about 2 weeks ago on a Friday. And we are working together, and there will be a joint communication that will go out about what we're doing together. We've been working with Temecula Valley Unified School District as well as the CIF. There were multiple investigations that took place regarding this incident, and it's an ongoing process. This is not something that is resolved, that it's done with. We know that there's more work to be done, and we are both working with Erin Gruwell from the Freedom Riders. She's met with Temecula Valley High School, and she already works with our school district, and they will be beginning work with her. And at some point in the future, there will be a joint meeting at a location that we will determine between our two schools to develop a better understanding of what happened that evening, but how to, as much as we can, build better support for each other and to have better understanding of how people felt that evening. And again, sometimes people say, are you going to resolve this like this and here? But I do want to say that this is there's ongoing resolution. It's not one day that happens 1 hour. It's a school year that this may take. But we do know there are specific items that Temecula Valley High School has addressed, and the CIF has shared that they support, and they are also, the CIF representatives shared with us some things that they're going to do to help students feel heard when they're at an athletic event. One of the things we talked about at this meeting was that athletics is a uniter, that it brings people together from different communities, and we should work together to make sure that when we are together, that we're supported. But when something happens, a game should be stopped, a referee should intervene, that there should not be, I didn't hear that, and so nothing happens. And so we discussed that, and those are changes that are being discussed and implemented. Mr. Johnson, you're the CIF representative for the school board, and you go to meetings and they discuss this. And so one of the things they talked about in the Temecula Valley situation was that home and visiting teams will sign commitments before games that state any allegations will be investigated and reported immediately. Visiting schools will have an administrator present at all games to allow and support proper supervision. Supervision and monitoring of students' behavior will be increased. As you saw tonight, we've increased with our own district representatives at our football games, making sure there are many people present to hear, to listen, and to resolve issues as they occur. Fencing will be restructured around the stadium to separate home and guest entrance and exits. High quality portable restrooms and snack bars for both sides of the football field will be added. The newly issued CIF statement for fan expectations will be utilized. Administrators overseeing athletics will check in with referees at halftime to ensure all is well on the field and after the game. School administrators will check in with the visiting team administrators before the game, at halftime, and after the game to inquire about potential issues or issues that may have occurred during the game. So I just want to say that we're very encouraged by what is happening, and I want to thank the Valley View High School cheerleaders for their, what they've done to support and to be change agents. And I know that through Erin Gruwell's facilitation, that both schools will become better places. We're also using Erin Gruwell with Vista to Lago High School. Canyon Springs High School had a meeting with her today. A student requested that Ms. Gruwell help at that school with a situation that developed there. So a lot of positive support, a lot of energy going into working together, communicating. And again, there will be a joint communication that comes out. We've been doing the joint communication through CIF, Temecula Valley Unified School District and Moreno Valley Unified School District, and making sure that it says and represents what is happening. So I thank the community for their inquiry, but I also thank the students for working on this and knowing that the best way to make sure that this doesn't happen again is to know better and do better, but also to be responsive and support each other. So I just can't thank everyone enough for what they've done to help everyone grow and become better from this. So thank you.
Dr. Kidziora, for all your effort and your team's effort as well. Moving on to E7, public comments on agenda items. Any person requesting to speak to any item on the agenda may do so at this time or when the item is addressed by the Board of Education. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. Board of Education shall limit total time for public input on each agenda item 21 minutes per bylaw 9323B section 5 per board bylaw 9323, twice the allotted time for the public utilizing a translator. Claudia, do we have any public comments on agenda items?
No public comments on agenda items.
Thank you, Claudia. All right, moving on to E8, public comments on non-agenda items. Board of Education encourages public comments during this section. Staff may briefly respond to statements or questions or may ask questions for clarification. The board may refer to staff or other resources for factual information, direct staff to report back at a subsequent meeting, or direct staff to place a topic on a future agenda. If someone wants to lodge a complaint against the employee, the appropriate form may be obtained at any school community education center. Individual speakers are allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes on non-agenda items. Regardless of the number of issues to be addressed by the individual, the Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on non-agenda items to 21 minutes. Board Bylaw 93. Twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. With Board of Education consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a pool of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Board Bylaw 9323B-C, Section 5. Claudia, do we have any comments on non-agenda items?
No public comments on non-agenda.
Thank you so much. All right, now we're moving on to F, consent agenda. All matters in this category are considered to be consent with the board district goals. There will be no separate discussion on these items. If discussion is required, items may be from the consent agenda and will be considered separate. Want to make sure that it's we revisit the item that we already pulled from the consent calendar, and that was consent item F4A1 for a separate vote. So right now we will be looking and entertaining a motion for a consent agenda that is amended with the removal of F4A1 out of the consent calendar or consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the amended consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
We have a motion on the table by Ms. Smith. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mr. Johnson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson? Mr.
Aye.
Keaton?
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Now we're moving on to item G, superintendent discussion and informational items. Dr. Kidziora. Just to clarify before Dr. Kidziora gets started, this is a discussion on school COVID-19 updates and in-person learning for school year 21-22.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. I'm going to move to the, thank you for saying what this was. Yeah, that's COVID-19 vaccine testing and contact tracing updates. Those are what's included in this PowerPoint. I'm going to move to the next slide. I've already covered that. So I'm glad it's on there. So this is COVID-19 updates from the state of California. And this is just, some of these have been, said before, but there's still questions that are asked. So on October the 1st, 2021, Governor Newsom made an announcement regarding vaccines for students and staff. He directed the California Department of Public Health to add the COVID-19 vaccine to other vaccinations required for in-person school attendance. The state is waiting for FDA approval of the vaccine to implement mandated vaccines for students attending school in person. Part 1 is for students in grades 7 through 12th grade, and Part 2 is for students in kindergarten through 6th grade. Pending approval, the requirement would be for both staff and students. The state may require it as early as January 1st or July 1st for any student attending in-person instruction. So that is not starting now, and nor are the these requirements in place. It's just this was announced, and sometimes we get people that have asked us, "Are we beginning this?" But we're waiting on these conditions to be provided before this is implemented. Are there any questions on that from the board? Okay, these are some COVID-19 updates. And I want to remind everyone about the dashboard. The current dashboard reflects cases from September the 1st to October the 12th. There are 150 total on-site cases for students and staff. Potential exposures since they were on campus 48 hours, 2 days prior to experiencing symptoms or testing positive. And just as a reminder, it's difficult to avoid exposures when you don't know that you're going to have symptoms within the next 48 hours. But this is the most updated information that we have up to October the 12th. And that's available on mvusd.net/COVID-19. And so we provide that as a way to update our staff and community on what cases we have had in our district. And on the next slide, this is on COVID. This is about symptom protocol, excuse me, a review of that. And there are county guidelines that we are following, and it's not something we developed or created. I just want you to know that everything that we do is through Riverside University Health System and the Riverside County Department of Public Health. So if there's no known exposure, students and staff will have to undergo immediate isolation and test for COVID-19 on day 6 of symptoms. If no test, students or staff have to undergo 10 days of isolation. And so this is in the guidance, and this is not something that we created or that we developed on our own. This is something that all school districts follow. And that's about symptom protocol. On the next area, it's COVID-19 support. And I just want you to know that the Board of Education in a special meeting approved a contract for contact tracing. And we have contact and tracing in place at several school sites. They're not in place at every school site yet. So we have schools that still continue to do this without support. They are hiring people. These are schools that are served by contact tracers at this time. Palm Middle School, Canyon Springs High School, Creekside, Valley View High School, Moreno Valley High School, Badger Springs Middle School, Vista to Lago High School, Mountain View Middle School, Landmark Middle School, Northridge Elementary, March Mountain, Bayside, Bridges Learning Center, Alessandro, and the Head Start Preschool. So contact tracers have been assisting many schools with COVID-19 situations. And currently we have remote contact tracers that assist schools from 7:30 a.m. through 8 p.m. And we look forward to the support of in-person contact tracers to help out schools. And so this is something that it's just really beginning and is providing much needed support and relief to schools, especially health techs and nurses and office staff, because this is something that requires attention to detail and really important in communication. And so the contact tracers have experience in this and help the principal and the school site to do this more efficiently and effectively. So I want to thank the board for having that special meeting and approving this contract. contact tracers, these are other things just to remind people. They assist schools with identifying positive cases. They contact families to obtain required information. They contact students or staff who are considered a close contact. They inform administrators when notifications are required. They assist with the management of the isolation room, and they support with reporting cases to the county. As a reminder, contact tracers, they are not in every school at this moment, but we are working as they hire people, the partner that we worked with, to get as soon as possible someone supporting every school, but that's just not in place yet. Sometimes you might hear from a contact tracer, but they're always working with the administrator of that school. And so far, the schools they've worked with, it's provided a lot of support and necessary relief to the staff who works there. And we thank them, and we thank everyone for helping with this detail and communication. We have some new forms that are used by schools and contact tracers. This is just to make you aware of these. There's an intake form that we use to intake information. There's reporting cases. That's another form for reporting cases. And then there's post-screening afterwards that's used to document what happens. All of these are very important in preventing the spread of COVID and to making sure that students and staff are safe. And I want to thank Ana E. Velasco and Sandra Ayala, who work collaboratively together, and the nurses in our district to develop these forms and make sure they're usable, but they are good document or important documentation and just knowing what's happening in each case. Another area that Ana E. Velasco has worked on is our asterisk internship. We had students last year that graduated from our school district that are now in college. They worked as interns. We have a difficult time getting substitutes for every position in our district. So one of the things we're doing is we're working with civic engagement. This is a pandemic, and we have these young people, there's 7 right now, that assist schools as COVID-19 ambassadors under the asterisk program. And they may help with the following: communication with students and parents, filling out intake forms, manning isolation rooms, filing, sorting, and organizing, being present to just be assistants, because there's so much that can happen at a school. And I've met with these students, and I met with 2 today, and they are very interested in making sure that COVID is addressed in our schools, but supporting it through this civic engagement. It's very unique to our school district, and I'm very glad these students want to support our community in this process. And they are trained to deal with any situation they're given. They are given training, and they are provided a connection or a contact person should they need assistance or help. But one student worked with Riverside University Health System as an intern during the summer, and he's going to be a doctor, so he's very interested in being part of this. Another student I met today is a mechanical engineer going to UC Riverside, and he's interested in community involvement and staying engaged and helping to stop the spread of COVID. So we're very encouraged by this, what's happening. And I want you to know on the next slide, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Helen Keller said that. So we want to thank all staff members who are actively working to ensure we're keeping our students and staff safe by following COVID-19 protocols and working together. It takes all of us and more people than we ever thought necessary to take care of everyday issues within our schools. This is a very unpredictable time. A lot of work is needed, a lot of support is needed. And I'm proud that we're shaping the future by having them be involved in this. So it's really, I told Ana E. today, what a wonderful opportunity for people to participate and be engaged in our school district. So then we have vaccine and testing requirements. This is a public health order. The California Department of Public Health issued a state public health order requiring all school employees to either show proof of full vaccination or test for COVID-19 at least once per week. And so we want to make sure everyone is aware that this is an order from the state. It is not something that we as a district developed or that the Board of Education asked to be done. This is from the, as I've said, the state public health order. And in compliance with this requirement, the Human Resources team sent a link to all of our staff last night via Inform K-12 so they can begin to upload their proof of vaccination. Many have already done this. The information will be kept confidential in the Human Resources Department. And so as a summary on the next slide of what's happened, on September 13th, there was an invitation to submit the proof of vaccination. On October the 1st, that was the deadline to submit the proof. On October the 4th through the 15th, Human Resources identified and notified staff who needed to undergo weekly testing. And on October 18th, which is next week, that's when weekly testing begins for people who are not vaccinated. And so that's our summary of our plan to comply with the public health order. On the next slide is the vaccines by the numbers. As of October 8th, 2021, the following are the current numbers regarding our staff who have submitted proof of full vaccination. So there have been 1,558 certificated, including substitutes, and 1,176 classified, including substitutes. And so there, when you break that down, there are 1,254 certificated teachers, not including management, 106 certificated management, and 198 certificated substitutes to make up that 1,558. And then there's 1,056 classified employees, including management, and 120 classified substitutes that make up that 1,176. And so there is more work to be done and more information, but we'll continue to update with that information as we move through this. This is a notification to employees that we have through Inform K-12, which is a system that we use to notify employees. This gives them the notification, and then this also gives them the form to submit the proof of their vaccination. So those are just forms I want to make people aware of and our community aware of that we're using. And these are vaccine opportunities that have been provided in Moreno Valley Unified School District since March of 2020-21, then in July, in August, September, October 12th today at the district office, October 16th at Vista Lago High School, and November 13th. So the district has provided multiple opportunities for community and staff to receive vaccinations right here in our own school district. And we have the numbers up until today. We don't have those numbers yet, but at some, it's been as high as 385 and as small as 82. But we continue to offer these as ways to make our community and our public feel comfortable in a setting that our district has. And while we're there at the vaccine clinic, we also offer job opportunities for people that are interested in working here. So I thank Human Resources for collaborating on this. And then our testing resources for symptoms and exposures. We have an on-site testing program that we offer at the Welcome and Registration Center, which is Andresia Avenue. And the times have shifted. The company and also we as economics, we want to be economically efficient. We also want to provide service, but if people aren't coming, we don't want to keep it open at that time. And so we discovered that from 2 to 5 on Saturday, no one was coming. So it's now going to be from 9 to 2 on Saturday. If we discover that there's a need for it, we'll certainly continue until 5 o'clock. But right now it's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. And this location is for any student or staff member who is experiencing COVID-like symptoms who is identified as a close contact and is required or recommended to test based on the latest guidelines. There is pre-registration required that's on the next slide. And this is important. You complete it only once and one registration form per person. Ensure a correct email address is provided. And the students and parents must complete on behalf, for students, parents must complete on behalf of each student. And a copy of the quick result will be given at the testing site, and the PCR results will be emailed, and all test results are reported to schools. So this is an important method and convenient way for students and staff to receive testing. So that concludes my update, Mr. Peden, on in-person learning, but also what we're doing to keep students and staff safe and follow the Riverside University Health System and Riverside Department of Public Health and Cal OSHA guidelines for students and staff.
Thank you, Dr. Kidziora, for that in-depth presentation. We do appreciate your work on that, as well as your teams. Now we're moving on to H1A. Acknowledgement of board member resignation. I would just call on Dr. Kidziora to give a quick summary of this, but I'm the board member who's resigning. And before I kind of go into that, I, clearly haven't had an opportunity to speak to all of you, and especially my board colleagues, given Brown Act and things like that as it relates to communicating with too many folks regarding things that are on action items on the agenda. So I do feel that I owe you all an explanation, or at least tell you why I'm resigning. I think that's my obligation to do so. This is not something that I plan to do. This is not something that I'm happy about doing. I'm really kind of feeling some sort of way today. I really have enjoyed serving with all of you, serving the Moreno Valley community. It's been an honor. It really has, to be able to work with a group of folks on a governing team that don't always see eye to eye on every issue. But even though that may be the case in some circumstances, in some situations, it's clear that we work for the benefit of the students, and that every single person serving the Moreno Valley district, especially those that are in this meeting today, the cabinet, the governing board, Dr. Kidziora, it's clear to me that it's always about the kids and about the students, and that this district is about centering students. I know that to be true about all of you, and I think all of you are great representatives for the Moreno Valley community. My reason for resigning is it was a very spontaneous decision. It was one that all of you know, that life is all about balance, and we don't operate in this world alone. I do have a family, and about a month and a half ago, my wife and I and my kids, we decided out of the blue to put an offer on a house, and they accepted our offer. It just so happened that house was outside of the district that I serve as it relates to the Board of Education. And therefore I have no choice but to resign, because I can't serve on this governing body and not live live somewhere outside of the district. So in life, there's balance, there's change. Sometimes change happens, whether we like it or not. And I don't get to make all the decisions, in my family alone. So this is where we are. I just wanted to let you all know that this wasn't something that I was thinking about. I was actually planning on being on the Board of Education for quite some time, as long as the public would continue to elect me. I really do enjoy the work that we do here. I think we're doing a lot of great work, and we're really setting the bar for what educational institutions should do and how they should engage with the community, and really progress in that way. And under your leadership, as well as, of course, Dr. Kidziora, I think that we're in a great spot. And it's been, at the end of the day, it's been an honor serving with you all. I'll just rambling, but I really do feel like I'm abandoning you all, and I'm going to have to deal with that. So I'll just leave it at that. It's not something that I'm happy about discussing, but I have no choice but to sign. I don't know if anybody wants to. Obviously it's an action item, so you can discuss if you would like. If not, we can. My resignation will be effective as of October 13th, which is tomorrow. And I'm asking you all to acknowledge the receipt of that letter of resignation by myself.
Mr. Peden, if I can just add to that agenda item real quick.
Please.
The Riverside County Office of Education Superintendent did receive it on October 8th, and I did not put that in there.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So no pressure. I mean, we don't have to discuss. Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
I thought we were going to be talking at the end close. So, but I'll say a few things now. You know, it's been a pleasure, you know, over these last couple of years working with you, and I understand when you have a family and things come up and you have to leave. I think if anybody know about that, I do. I mean, as long as I was in the military, you know, you didn't really make long range plans because you knew you wasn't going to be staying there forever. But however, when you have your own home, you normally try to gauge your life and say, okay, this is where I'm going to stay forever. But if something else comes up, you know, you move. So I think you're doing the best for you and your family. But the only thing we can say is that, you know, we enjoyed you being a part of the team while you were here. And we're sure that when you leave and wherever you go, you're going to assimilate yourself with that area, and then you'll find something to do to contribute to the growth of it. So thank you so much for what you've done, and for what we think you're going to be doing in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I mean, yeah, so I'm not pressuring anybody to talk. We can just, I just, you know, definitely entertaining. Go ahead, Ms. Smith.
Are we supposed to have a copy of that letter? I'm sorry, I'm having some problems with my lighting tonight, so it's all, I feel like you can't see me, but okay. So I didn't get a copy. Did we get a copy of the letter?
What letter?
Letter of resignation.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, Dr. Kadzor.
It was the letter of resignation was included in board communication you just received this week.
All right, I'll go back and look for it, but I did not see
It's the very first thing on the board communication.
Okay.
That you received this week, this past week, excuse me. You received it last week.
Okay. Then I move that we acknowledge the receipt of the letter of resignation from board member Darrell A. Peden of trustee area 5.
All right, there's a motion on the table.
Before we continue, can I make a comment?
Please.
Please. And I apologize, Ms. Smith. I don't mean to interrupt the process. We'll continue, but I just have to say I did see the letter, and I'm looking at what Claudia just mentioned, that the letter went to the county superintendent on October 8th. Is that correct? Is that the correct date? October 8th?
We sent it October 7th and he received it October 8th.
So he sent it October 8th.
He acknowledged,
So what I'm trying to get is that it has been already received by the county superintendent. So at this point in time, we couldn't go back, and I don't think you would like to go back because you have your plans and and you want to move forward with the plans with your family. So all I want to say is that I appreciate you being part of the team. I appreciate your willingness to serve this community. You know how much this community means to all of us. And that is why we dedicate our time, we dedicate our energy, and we dedicate our everything that we dedicate here for the community, because we strongly believe in it. And you know, I understand many times I have missed events because the family calls and says, no, you're not going there, you're going here with us. So I understand that piece. And when the family calls, and you respond to that. But I just have to say that it's been an honor, a pleasure working with you. You brought a lot of good ideas and good comments and good initiatives or moves to be made by the school district and the superintendent and the entire family. So that is to be appreciated. And you mentioned sometimes we don't see eye to eye. You know, it's understandable. That's part of the democratic process, right? that it has to happen, and that's why there's a board of education, and that's why there are boards of education and boards of other types everywhere, because there has to be a discussion, there has to be a decision made, and there has to be reasoning for going one way or the other. So, so that's part of the process. But in any case, even when there was no agreement, your ideas were set on the table, and those are ideas that help us learn and understand and see the other side, sometimes the other side that we don't see, and those ideas help us see that there's more than one way to go. So, so I appreciate you dedicating your time to this board, dedicating your time to the community. I know you care about this community, and I know you're going to care about the community where you're going. I'm not sure where you're going, but I know you're going to be caring about that community too. I sense that down the road, you're going to do more for that community and maybe a larger community too. I don't know what your plan is, but whatever your plan is, I wish you the best. You have a lot to offer. You're young. You have a long way ahead of you. And I understand, and I know the family will understand your desire to continue serving. And I know you're not going to stop here. So it's a temporary break for you. I'm sensing that. So wherever you go, whatever you do, I wish you the best. And I know you're going to be a tremendous asset wherever you go and whatever you decide to continue serving. So thank you for your service here. Thank you for what you did. And thank you for what you taught me. And we'll continue moving forward. Of course, we're going to miss you, and we'll continue serving our community with the three of us. And then, you know, of course, we are going to have down the road 2 more colleagues. So your name is stamped on the history of this school district, and it's going to be there forever. And we appreciate that. So thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so
I'd
at
just
this
like
time,
to say, Dr. Kadziora, I did see the letter. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gone through so fast. Sometimes you just go through, you know, I saw the resignation, but I didn't register the letters. So I'd like to say thank you to Daryl for everything you've done. You will be missed.
thank you, Ms. Smith. Is
I have made my motion.
there a second?
I second that motion.
A second from Mr. Holguin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson. You're muted, Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right, now we're on moving to H1B, discussion for determination of manner in which to fill vacancy. Here's a discussion that needs to be had today. Dr. Kadziora, I'll let you summarize this agenda item, if you will.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. So I just want the board to know that after this conversation, a press release will go out to the public, and we're compiling that right now to send out, because we have not, this evening, we, of course, this is a part of the discussion, and it's a part of what we want to include in the press release, because this is important for us to notify our community and our school district about this. This is, you know, something that we don't like, because when we lose a family member, it is something that we just wished we did, you know, like we just did this with Dr. Locke. And so we feel a sense of loss and a sense of, you know, that we, you know, we're going to miss, you know, this, you know, Daryl, we miss Dr. Locke, and this is significant. So I want the board to know you don't have to make a decision tonight. That's very important for you to know. You have some time to think about this, because you have 60 days, and that would mean from October 13th tomorrow through December the 12th. And you have the option of holding a special election or a provisional appointment. And there are conditions for each of these that I will include in your board communication. And the board meeting dates that are within the 60-day window are the next board meeting on Tuesday, October 26th, and also Tuesday, November the 9th. So you have time to think about this and decide what you'd like to do. I will include the information in the board communication so that you have the information. Even though we've had a prior experience, it's always myself and Claudia and I sit down, and this is always a new experience to me because we never do this. I mean, this isn't something we do every day, and that's good. But it's something that we have to be very conscious of the details about and the requirements. So I just wanted to present that to you tonight as a discussion. And unless I don't think we agendized this as an action item, did we, Claudia?
We did not agendize it as an action item, but the board can vote to take action if they wanted to, but they would have to take vote to take action. And
Yes.
then we can make it an action item.
Yes, but I just wanted to present that to you this evening, that you have time because you have 60 days, and that 60-day time period begins October the 13th through December the 12th. You have 2 board meetings in that 60-day window from Tuesday, October 26th and Tuesday, November 9th. You can also hold a special board meeting if needed to have this action or discussion, but you have time. And I just wanted you to know that if you that's something that you can discuss and give me direction about what you would like.
Thank you, Dr. Kiziora. And of course, I don't feel like I should be leading this conversation. I will be leaving the community and don't feel like I have any agency to make this decision. So, but I think it would be definitely worth having discussion. So I'll leave it up to the board to have this discussion regarding this item.
So at the next board meeting, could you have information on when we could hold an election?
Yes. And I'll also, Ms. Smith, include that in our board communication, all the details about that.
Good.
And that will help when you, if you choose to wait until the October 26th board meeting to help you determine, or the board determine, what decision they'd like to make based on that information.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, I feel bad because District 5 was without representation for a fairly lengthy period of time before, and now they will be without representation again. And although I prefer an election, that's always my preference.
Yeah, I appreciate Dr. Katsura, your explanation. And I think it's good to have the information, whatever information you can provide on the Friday memo, or perhaps even at the next board meeting, so that we can make an informed decision as to what is the best time, especially because of the dates. I think we need to look at the dates. We need to look at other factors, but I'll support waiting for your information before we can make a decision. That's my point at this point in time, that I would like to see more detailed information to see what our options are, and then we can decide. That's my side. Thank you, Dr. Katsura.
Yeah, and Dr. Katsura, I agree with that too. We can wait until you gather the information and disseminate it out. And as far as that area that Mr. Peden represents, it wasn't so many years ago that we were responsible for everyone in the community, and my door is always open to anybody. It doesn't matter to me what district you live in or what area you live in the Moreno Valley, as long as you live in our township. I'm your servant. So that's how I feel. Because when I started, that's the way it was. So it's not a big change for me to be able to answer a call from anybody. Because if a kid lives, 2 areas down from me, but if they're still in Moreno Valley and the parent figure they can't come and talk to me, I wouldn't like that. I would rather anybody feel free to talk to me at any time. That's just how I feel. I can't talk to anybody else, but that's just me. So yeah, Dr. Katsura, we'll wait until you formulate the ideas and the plans that you have, and then we can move forward from there.
Well, I just want the board to know I'll be providing you the information in your board communication, and it will be specific to what the election commission expects or requests of us. And so there'll be detail about when a special election could occur, and there'll be detail about a provisional appointment. And then we'll have a discussion, if that's your wish, at the next board meeting and an action to determine which one to do.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kitson. And I just want to echo Mr. Johnson's words that even when we are by trustee areas, that doesn't mean that the community cannot contact me. I mean, Mr. Johnson already said it, but I feel the same way. I'm here to serve. And yes, we served the entire district before. We went to trustee areas, but I'm here to serve and to help in any way I can community members whenever it's needed. So I can be contacted at any time. So just like to make that known too. Thank you for mentioning that, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Hayden, I think I've shared all the information. I just wanted you to know.
Thank you. And just to recap, Dr. Kidziora will come back or in the board communication to communicate with you all regarding all of the details for a special election or an appointment. And then you all will have those discussions and make a decision on October, the next board meeting, which I believe is October 22nd. Is that correct?
26th.
26th. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next action item, H2, or the in-action item, which is H2, student discipline cases 525 to 526. Ms. Maddox.
I have no further information at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve action items on student disciplinary cases as presented.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Carries 4-0. All right, now we're on to H2B, which is a second reading and approval of board policy and administrative regulations 6146.1, high school graduation requirements. Ms. Maddox.
Good evening, and just to update you on what's been going on with our board policies and also to summarize, district staff have been working on updating this current board policy and administrative regulation 61461, instruction, high school graduation requirements, to bring this policy in alignment to education code and any CSBA language and any legislative changes. It also has been shared with both MVEA and CSEA for their review. So as a general summary, this board policy is proposing to remove the health course requirement for high school graduation requirements, which reduces the number of credits from 225 to 220. In addition, it adds a school and or community engagement piece, which could include service learning. So this is a new graduation requirement where high school students in our district would be expected to complete 20 hours of service learning or any school or community engagement activities from any authorized community service provider or be involved in a school and district approved activity. Also, this board policy and AR updates graduation requirements, language for courses. So it updates the language in some core area, subject areas of this board policy to reflect the approved courses that we actually offer that can also meet the graduation requirements for these specific courses. So that's a summary of the changes in this proposed board policy and AR. 6146 high school graduation requirements for your approval tonight, since this is the second reading.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board, is there any other questions, comments, or concerns on this item before we entertain a motion to approve this item? All right, seeing none. This time I'll entertain a motion to adopt board policy administrative regulation 6146.1 high school graduation requirements as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Holguin. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
By Ms. Smith. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Okay, now we're on to H2C, second reading and approval of board policy and administrative regulation 6158 independent study. Ms. Maddox.
District staff has also been working on this board policy to amend and also to make sure that it's in alignment to any CSBA language, new legislation, State Board of Education guidance, and updates in educational codes. The summary on this board and AR is to make sure that it's in alignment with the new requirements for Bill 130, which gives districts guidelines and requirements for independent study. So as a summary of this board update and AR update, it allows independent study for pupils whose parents or guardians determine that in-person instruction would put the pupil's health at risk. For the 21-22 school year, require school districts to offer independent study. Now, please note that our district has had this program in place through MVUSD for many years. So we had already met this requirement. It does require our LEA, our district, to adopt and implement policies, for example, to require a level of satisfactory educational progress for students and to monitor that progress, to provide content-aligned standards to grade level standards equivalent to in-person learning, including access to courses for graduation and meeting A through G requirements. Also provide procedures for tiered re-engagement for students who are not generating attendance for 3 or more school days, or 60% of their attendance. Provide a plan for specific synchronous instruction requirements by grade level. Also, to provide a plan to transition pupils when families wish to return to in-person instruction. In addition, it includes requirements that are to be used for audit purposes. So those are just some highlights of this board policy AR to make sure that it's in alliance with the new bill number 130, and that's board policy 6158 and the AR 6158. And this is the second reading, so we'd like more approval for this policy.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board, is there any other questions, comments, or concerns on this item?
Yeah, just a comment. But this is more general, not so much on this particular item, but I have to say that I truly appreciate staying on top of the changes and the language from CSBA, but most importantly from legislation and budget and the education code and all those areas that have to be observed closely. So staying on top and modifying the policies and the administrative regulations, I think it is critical. So I just want to say thank you, Ms. Maddox, and your team for keeping those up to date and bringing them to the board for moving forward in the right direction with the legal language on those items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. All right, if there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, I'll entertain a motion to adopt board policy administrative regulation 6158 independent study as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Johnson. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Smith. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. All right, now moving on to H2D, approval to adopt comprehensive sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction book, positive prevention plus sexual health education for America's youth. Ms. Maddox.
Thank you. The proposed instructional materials and textbooks for the California Healthy Youth Act were available for review by appointment in the Professional Development Office and also in digital format from September 15th, 2021 to October 12th, 2021, which actually exceeds the 14-day requirement prior to the recommendation for the board tonight for consideration for adoption. In addition, the appropriate Superintendent Advisory Committee evaluated and recommended the curriculum per established procedures in Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 616.1, selection and evaluation of textbooks. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following materials and textbooks for adoption. Title, Positive Prevention Plus, Sexual Health Education for America's Youth, grade level 6th through 8th, and the publisher, Positive Prevention Plus 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this item before I entertain a motion to approve the adoption of this text? All right, seeing none at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the adoption of comprehensive sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction book, positive prevention plus sexual health education for America's youth as indicated.
Yeah, I like to make the motion there, and I sorry, I missed. I wanted to make a comment.
Oh, please, please, yeah.
Once again, I just want to thank Dr. Casiora and his team for going through this process, which it took some time, but I think it was necessary, and it was the right thing to do, to take the necessary time to make sure that these materials are or were approved not only by this board, but also by the advisory committee. The community had the opportunity to give input, and so nothing hiding here. Transparency at its best here. So thank you, Dr. Casiora and Maribel Maddox and the entire team for going through that process. And with that, I'd like to make the motion that we approve this item.
There's a motion on the table, Mr. Holguin. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Mr. Peden, is you?
Oh yeah, Mr.
It
Peden.
froze. I'm sorry. I guess.
Oh,
Aye.
sorry. Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0. Did I hear 4-0? Because I got it froze on me. Okay, excellent. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Maddox. All right, on to H3A, recommendation to the governing board to approve appointments to the Citizen Bond Oversight Committee. Ms. Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. One of the requirements of having a general obligation bond under Proposition 39 is that a Citizens Bond Oversight Committee is established. This is a committee that will meet on a regular basis, and they oversee the expenditures of the bonds. We just had a CBOC meeting actually last week. This evening, the item that I'm bringing forward to you is to reappoint for another 2-year term 2 of its current members. We have Melissa Neri, who is representing the parent guardian of child enrolled in district and active in any parent-teacher organizations such as PTA or school site council, as well as Christina M. Horta, also representing the parent guardian of child enrolled in district and active in any parent-teacher organization such as PTA or school site council. Both of these members are very excited to be able to continue the work that they have been doing on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. And as well, one thing that I do want to mention is that with this reappointment, if approved, we would have 7 full members. And just looking at what goes on at many districts, it's very difficult to have members in each of the categories because it's very specific as to the categories. And so just very excited to be able to, with this reappointment, have a full 7-member committee.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this item before I entertain a motion to approve the appointments to the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee?
Thank you to those parents for being willing to be part of this process.
Absolutely. All right, at this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve the appointments. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Move the appointments to the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee.
Yes, I think I had a motion on the table by Mr. Holguin.
That's okay. Ms. Smith can take it. I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Smith, I'm sorry, y'all, it froze on my end. So there was a motion on the table by Ms. Smith, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, there's a second.
Mr. Holguin seconded.
I second it.
Mr. Holguin seconded?
Yes.
Okay, motion on the table by Ms. Smith, second on the table by Mr. Holguin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Thank you for helping me navigate through that. All right, moving on to H4A, Classified Managerial Job Position, Public Information Officer, Dr. Verde.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. The current managerial job title for this position has now been updated to a Director 3 Public Information Officer in order to remain competitive and also to better reflect the work that's being done in this position. The proposed title and salary were reviewed by the JFMC committee on September the 20th, and consensus was reached to bring that forward to the board this evening for approval.
Thank you, Dr. Verde. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this item? All right, seeing none, I will just say this makes a lot of sense to me. Glad that we're pursuing this. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the job description title from Public Information Officer to Director 3 Public Information Officer as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Holguin. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And by Mr. Johnson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Now on to our favorite item, which we haven't had an opportunity to add anything to future agendas, but it's here, and that's a good thing. We have item I, future agenda topics. Board members have an opportunity to discuss for future board meetings any potential agenda items that they would like to see in upcoming agendas. Is there a need for a discussion for this item at this time?
I think I just, I guess to make it formal, I guess, to ask the superintendent to add to the agenda the information or the action item for the next steps on replacing the board member position.
Absolutely, thank you, Mr. Holguin. Okay, other than that item, is there anything in addition? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Acknowledgement items. First quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints, Ms. Maddox.
I'd like to report to the board tonight that there were no Williams uniform complaints filed for the first quarter of this year, which is from July through September of 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Any questions, comments on Ms. Maddox's report?
No.
All right, seeing none, we will move on to item K, comments from board members and superintendent. I know who goes first, Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Yes, I do go first, and I hope that you other board members will keep that in mind. So I'd like to say just a couple of things tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Number one, I'd like to mention what I think we called the late summer graduation on September 17th. I was so, there were just a few students, but I was so happy to be able to honor them, to see these kids who missed graduation in June, missed the summer school graduation in July, but still were able to make up credits and get a diploma from Moreno Valley Unified School District from their high school on September 17th, and that we were able to honor these students. It meant a lot to me because what it means is that every single student in this district is important. There is no student going through Moreno Valley Unified School District that is not important to us as a board, to the superintendent, to the staff, to everyone who works here. And I know that Mrs. Maddox worked on that and Dr. Arce worked on that. And we had teachers working on that. So I'd like to say thank you to all of those people. And again, congratulations to those students that were honored that day. Thank you, and thank you for making this happen. I'd also like to say thank you to Daryl for all that you have done on the board. You will be missed. I am so sad to see you go. I consider you not just a colleague, but a friend, and I will miss you as a friend as well as a fellow board member. It has been good to see your point of view on many, many issues. You have given us sometimes a new, fresh perspective on things, and I think that we needed that. You have been supportive of students, number one, first and foremost, and supportive of staff, and standing up for your personal beliefs on many, many occasions. So thank you for that, and thank you for your service here on the school board.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Appreciate that. Mr. Holguin.
Yes, absolutely. I will not forget that Ms. Smith goes first. I have to keep that in mind. No doubt about it. So you can be sure of that, Ms. Smith. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Toby Boucher for the work with the foundation and with the golf tournament. That I apologize, I was not able to be there because I had a conflict. I wanted to show my support and I wasn't able to, but no, Mr. Boucher, that I support the activity and I support the foundation, and I will find other ways to support it because I think it's a great thing that is available or is present, is active, and he has been working on it along with the other members of the community. Have been working on that foundation for quite some time already. So I truly appreciate what is being done there. And again, if I wasn't there, not because I didn't want to, but because of a conflict. I want to mention briefly, I think maybe Dr. Katsura mentioned it and I missed it. I don't remember seeing it, or I apologize if he did, but I'm so excited to know that there's a golden bell potentially coming our way. And for the ABC, the anti-bullying committee at Canyon Springs High School. And it's just an exciting thing. I was able to see a presentation by the ABC a few days back. And I think it's just amazing the way the students are handling that committee, that work. And of course, thank you to the administration at Canyon Springs High School and the teachers, the administrators and the instructors that are working with the team. But the students did an amazing job doing the presentation. And I'm not sure if we have received the final notification or not, but looking forward to know what the final notification is. But in any case, just keeping in mind that just a nomination for a golden bell, it's big, it's huge. So just with that, just by being nominated, I think the students deserve a lot of kudos for their work. And of course, the effectiveness of the program, not only at that school, but it's spreading all over the school district. So thank you, students, and congratulations for that nomination. And then, well, I had in my notes to thank the administrators and the school district. Dr. Katsura did already, so I just want to echo those words. Thank you to all the administrators, but also to the entire team for all the work that is being done. I want to mention this last Saturday, Dr. Katsura mentioned too the band tournament at Canyon Springs High School, and it's called Cougar Fest. And I think this is a special activity that had not happened in 2 years. And of coming back this past Saturday with a few bands that came from different places from Southern California and gathered at Canyon Springs High School for an excellent field show. It was a great event, but I just have to mention it because it was very well organized by, of course, the band director, Mr. Lozano, and a lot of parent volunteers and people from the school. It was a good event, well organized, and again, because it hadn't happened in 2 years, and coming back and doing that in such a professional way, it's just I just want to congratulate everyone and thank everyone for welcoming the schools that came, and I think the schools felt welcome at this site, and it's just great to see this event happening at that stadium. In the past, Cougar Fest had to happen at Valley View or at Moreno Valley High School because there was no stadium where to hold it. So now to see it here, that caliber of event at Canyon Springs High School Stadium, it was an amazing event. I think Mr. Johnson, you were there too. And you would agree with me that it was an excellent event. So I'm very happy, and congratulations and thank you to everyone who was involved. My last comment I want to say, for many reasons, and I know Dr. Quezera has all the details on this, but a lot of the need for a lot of substitutes throughout the entire district, at schools, in the classroom, administration, in the district office, and everywhere. For one reason or another, I'm not criticizing anybody or anything here, but I want to say thank you to all those that have stepped up to cover those positions when it was needed, where it was needed, and to make sure that our students continue receiving the services that they come to schools to receive. So thank you for that. Whatever you substitute, or whoever you are, and you substitute it in a certain way, thank you for doing that. Thank you for helping the district continue functioning as it has to continue functioning. So I just have to say that. I know it is something that is happening not only here in Moreno Valley, but many districts and many organizations, businesses, and restaurants, and everywhere else. So for those that help, thank you for that. So those are my comments this evening. And of course, I couldn't leave without saying once again, thank you, Mr. Peden, for your service. Thank you for everything you did. And I look forward to hearing from you in the near future and see what you're doing, how are you doing, and what benefit, or who is benefiting from your service and where. So come back and tell us, share with us, or communicate, stay in touch with us. All right. Thank you for your service again.
Thank you very much. Will do. I definitely plan to. Mr. Johnson.
Well, thank you, Mr. Peden. First, I want to start off with what occurred, right when the meeting was starting, and that was the pledge by this young student. I don't think we've ever had anybody that young. Maybe we have, and I just never noticed it, but that young doing a pledge. But the thing that I want to say that I really got to give some credit to his parents, number one, for working with him and teaching him, but then his teachers that also worked with him tremendously. You can tell that he enjoyed going to school and learning. And so those folks that prepared him for tonight, just want to tip my hat and tell them thank you for doing so much for that young man. And I guarantee you that later on in life, people maybe around the world, but for sure around the area where he's going to be living, and maybe even in America, people might know who he is because of what he did just today for us. And I say that because I know sometimes when you say things like that, it's hard to imagine. But imagine this. We attended a basketball game last night. And we attended that basketball game because we were invited by a player. But he wasn't just a player. he was once at one time the same size as the kid that we saw tonight. He was one day in the kindergarten or in first grade in our district. He went to school here. And to show his appreciation, this is not the first time, he invited several folks to a basketball game last night. And so when I looked at this young boy tonight, I thought, just think, it could be another Kwali Leonard. I guess that's how you say his name. Isn't that right there? How do you pronounce his name? Kwali?
Kwali.
Yeah. So that young kid tonight, you know, I saw Kwali when he was that age. And look what he's doing for not only his city, but for the school district where he went to school. And this young man that we saw tonight, I'm telling you, you know, I'm no fortune teller, but I envision that kid doing something just like that. I mean, the future, him doing what he did for us, the future looks very bright as far as I'm concerned, as long as his parents keep working with him like I know they will, and he's going to get great teachers like Kwali did. You don't do something for a kid and the kid become prosperous and he forgets you. They just don't do that. And so I commend Kwali for not forgetting his school district. And oh, by the way, I guess we do remember that he gave all of us backpacks. Oh, I shouldn't say all of us, I mean the entire district. And I still have one of mine. But he's done much more than that. But my whole point in bringing that up about Kwali is that when I saw that little kid, I just dialed back and I thought, you know, Kwali was that young boy one day. And look where he is now. So dream with me, if you will. But I see this young kid being just as great as Kwali one day. So hats off to his parents and for all of those that prepared him for what he did for us tonight. By the way, as far as the game was concerned, if you're wondering, he didn't play because I think he's on injured reserve or something like that. I'm not sure. But I also want to again recognize all of those that receive awards, and you have to mention Dr. Ketziora here, because people do great jobs no matter where they are, but sometimes the people who they work for don't recognize it, or either they do recognize it and just see it as you're just doing your duty, you're just doing your job and you're getting paid for it. Well, I don't think Dr. Ketziora sees it that way. I think he sees people who's making a contribution to make us better. And so therefore he recognizes them. So I do want to thank him, along with all those folks that receive some recognition tonight, and all those folks that have received recognition in the past. I mean, you know, everybody know I came from PepsiCo, and we gave a recognition, but people worked hard to earn those things. And so I'm a recognition guy. And if you talk to any folks that work with me, they'll tell you, even the janitors, do things that's way out of what their duties call for. So I tip my hat to Dr. Ketziora for acknowledging, as well as those folks who were recognized and for the contributions that they have made to make our district as great as she is. And Mr. Hogan's already mentioned about the band. I know I've told several people when I was a young kid, y'all know I love football, but when I was a young kid, I just couldn't wait until I got to be in the 9th grade so I could play football. And I told my mother I was going out. She didn't say anything, but a couple of days later, she brought me this little black case. And I said, "What is that?" She said, "Open it." So I opened it, and it was a clarinet. And she said, "That's your football." I said, "No, I don't know what that is." My point in saying that is, as children, we always think we know best, but we really don't. But I mentioned that about my mother because I really appreciated what she did. So even though I didn't get what I wanted to get when I was in high school, I still had a chance to play. And Mr. Peden, he was a football player, and he knows it's not an easy thing to do. And I was a grown man, but I had folks helping me. They knew that that I didn't play as a high schooler, but I played on 2 different bases, and I have the trophies to show, and I have pictures where I was with the general. You know what I mean? So you can do anything. That's why I'm saying that you can do anything that you set your mind to. And those of us that are parents, yeah, your kid may not like it, but if that's something that they really want to do, later on in life, they can make that on their own decisions at that. So if it happened for me, it can happen for anybody. So, but I do want to say thank you for all of our teachers, our instructors, our coaches that go on the field every day and teach our boys, you know, sportsmanship, teach them how to play. And you know, we have the basketball players pro right now, and I'm sure we're going to have even more football players as pros. And yeah, we can say what we want about them, but I tell you what, they've got more money than I do. And Daryl, it's been fun working with you, man. I hate to see you go, but the good news for me is that, you know, I mentioned the military a few minutes ago. The thing about the military, you never get close enough where, you know, when somebody leaves, you just fall out. So, you know, we know in the military, you know, you're not going to stay together for life. So while you were here, enjoyed working with you. You're a good person, good man. And I wish nothing but the best for you. But just like I was when I was in the service, I left my friends and they left me. We can still communicate. I still have my ex-football players from well, I'm not gonna say how far back, but we still talk. We still talk. We still, one guy is a referee, and he said, I can't play, but I walk slow because I'm the head ref. So in other words, I hope that we can still communicate with each other, even though you're leaving. You have our numbers, we have yours. So if you don't mind, give us a call and we'll give you a call and just chit chat. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything that you've done to contribute to our district and making us better than we were. And hopefully we're just going to keep climbing the way we've been doing for the last few years. So thank you very much, man, for your contributions, and the best luck for you. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, I do plan on, like, I won't be living in the area, but I'll definitely still be working in the area. So, you know, I still plan on reaching out to you all, and maybe we can work on a few things, you know, here and there, and definitely keep in touch. So I appreciate your friendship and just our working relationship. You know, Miss Smith brought up something that I wanted to mention, and I mentioned to Dr. Kidziora a week ago or so in one of our meetings that most of my education has been in public policy. And one of the reasons why I was encouraged to, you know, run for office for an educational institution and just, you know, any governing body in general was because I really believed that, you know, us as elected officials and democratic institutions really do have a power to change lives. And that was really confirmed for me. And I know I've been on the board for a little while, you know, since late, 2018 or so. And so we've had a lot of opportunities to do really great things and move the district forward. But the other day when I was at what Miss Smith described earlier in her comments of young people graduating and taking that step, what we know is that happened because the leadership here in this district made sure it happened. And it could have gone a different way, right? Where you all say, you know what, no, you missed the boat, sorry. But instead chose to use your power and made something happen. And that's why I was encouraged in the very beginning to join this team, or at least put my name in the hat to see how I could be a part and how I can contribute, because I really do believe democratic institutions have that power. So I just want to say to you all that it's been an honor to serve beside you, knowing that all of you, the cabinet, the board, Dr. Kidziora, staff in this district, teachers, you know, everybody really sees the same, value the same principles, right? We all value that, and the idea that we can do our best to ensure and do everything we can to ensure that young people have an opportunity. and that we can do everything, we can go over and beyond and use the tools at our disposal to make sure that our community has what they need to be able to succeed. So I just appreciate all of you for never hesitating. And that story that Ms. Arce shared at that graduation, that Dr. Kiziora did not hesitate. That was just inspiring. And honestly, that'll stay with me forever, because that's what service is all about. So I just want to say, Dr. Kiziora, I appreciate you, Mr. Holguin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Johnson. It's been an honor. I appreciate all of you for all the work that you do and everything that you contribute to the lives of our young people and our community. And Ms. Maddox, it's been a pleasure serving with you as well. We've had our conversations. You've given me advice and things like that early on. Dr. Verde, same with you, and Ms. Lopez. I think all of you are wonderful and a great fit to continue moving this district forward and keep just setting that bar high. And then I would have to also point to the first advice that I was given when I first became a board member, and I was at Sugar Hill Elementary School, not as a parent, but also as a board member. And Miss Green said to me that, you know, you're a parent first and you're a school board member second. And I think that kind of really sums up where I am at in my life and why, you know, some changes have happened for me recently. But again, there's nothing more I can say except for I appreciate all of you and everything that you all do. And I hope to stay in contact with you. If I call, hopefully you'll pick up. But anyway, so I'll leave it at that. Dr. Kiziora.
Thank you, Mr. Payton. I have some slides I'm gonna put up to conclude my thoughts, just to, you know, make sure that I follow a train of thought here. But I do want y'all to know that the football coach, nobody texted me. I thought somebody would text me and help me out, but I figured it out. His name is Kyle McFadden. So in case y'all didn't know, he's the new coach up there. I said, somebody will text me. Nobody texted me. I said, I gotta figure this out. And finally, I kept asking people. I texted them, and Amanda Deniston came through. So I just want to say thank you to Kyle McFadden and what he's done. I want to, you know, this came as a shock to many of us. I want to recognize and I want to remember Victoria Baca, who served on this school board in Moreno Valley. You know, she fought a hard battle with something that, you know, people, you know, she didn't let anybody know. She just went through it and did everything she could to survive. But I admire that. And I just want you to know that while people didn't always see eye to eye with her in the school district, when I came here, one of the things that she told me early on was that she just wanted to help students and that they were her passion and her interest. And we worked together. You know, and people would always say to me, I don't, you know, they would say some things and, you know, but I just want you to know that we developed a very positive relationship, and I'm very appreciative of that and her support. And, you know, like each of you, she made me a better professional. And I think our community was blessed in many ways to have her as part of our community as long as we had her. And I know that, you know, whatever, I just appreciate how much she cared about students. And I knew that from the first day I met her when I came to work here at Sunnymead Middle School. I was talking to Lily Avia about it the other day. She was the principal, and it was an IEP meeting. And, but I, you know, we're gonna miss her. And then on a happier note, Mr. Holguin is gonna have a birthday tomorrow. And so each of you have time to go out and get a card and do something. He will accept gifts, and he'll accept things that you might want to give him. But I just want to say happy birthday to him, and thank you, Mr. Holguin, for what you do.
Thank you. I didn't ask him to say that. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Katsura.
And Mr. Holguin, I wanted to mention about the Golden Bell, but we're not supposed to mention it. We had the validation visit, and so they told us to wait and do anything. But I feel like it's going to happen. I wasn't trying to keep it a secret. And it'll be our 14th one since 2011. We're very proud of that in our district. But the real reason I want to conclude tonight is to thank Daryl Peden. And Ms. Smith, you said some things about his fresh perspective. He's young. Not that the rest of you are old, but he often sees things differently. And one of the things I want to say is how much I appreciated the in-depth conversations that we had. There was one Saturday that you stayed with me a long time here, and I kept thinking about your wife and kids and what they must be thinking. And but you talked to me a long time to hear perspectives and hear my thinking. And you said to me, "I'm really glad you shared that with me, Dr. Kadziora, because I didn't know how you got to that decision." And I think sometimes we just think that people know what we mean or think, but I really appreciated the time that you took to listen to understand and to really hear me and me to hear you. We had several long meetings, as you know, with different people, but out of that, we gained a better product, a better process, a better place for students. And I'm not opposed to that. And I appreciate when people take interest. And, we all seem like we're in a hurry to get something done, but we all could do better at listening to each other and taking that time. And I just thank you for, being interested to a point that, sometimes people don't realize how much time it takes to come to a better decision. So I am grateful for that. And I learned a great deal through you. And you made me a better superintendent. I want to thank you for what you contributed to social emotional learning, how you, I think sometimes when we were doing certain actions with students, we didn't always realize the impact, or maybe we did, but we didn't thoroughly think through them. And so your opinions, but your thoughts, but your passion for public safety and support are ones that are refreshing, but also you really, collaborated with agencies and our district and I just feel like we have a better process in place that people may not even realize where it came from. And I just want to say that your concern about what happens to children and families is very important, and how we serve and support each other, but how we listen to each other. And I think that we were all better because of you being here, and that's part of what happens in any organization. People contribute to it and they leave a footprint or a legacy. Sometimes we wish the footprint were bigger and the legacy were more, but we have people for the time that we have them. And for that, we appreciate you. Thank you.
I do appreciate those words. Thank you so much. And I hope that we can continue having conversations and growing our relationship. And that goes for all of you. And thank you for, again, everything that you all do. And I think it would be appropriate, and I'm sure you all would agree, that we, before we adjourn with a moment of silence out of respect for one of our community leaders, Victoria Baca. if that would be okay, and then we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. So if we can have a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And with that, we are, with no further business to come before the Board of Education, the meeting is adjourned at 9 p.m.